Hello everyone, I am live and it's quite a busy news day. Trump has apparently postponed yet another attack on Iran. Whether that's true or not is up to you. We'll also be covering the attack yesterday against an Islamic center in California, San Diego. So if you want to come say hi, link is here if you're seeing this on Instagram, or if you're seeing this on TikTok, just search Chris Kunzler or Chris K Live on Twitch, Chris Kunzler on YouTube. Shoplifters of the world, unite and take over, unite and take over. I scream, you scream, we all scream for Chris streams. I mean, the youth love streams. The youths love streams. I'm too fucking hot already, which is not good to say the least. Created dashboard. Right. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just getting to the Twitch stream. There's one of you watching, apparently, even though there's two of you commenting. So, it clearly shows how relevant the numbers are. Hashtag mainstream media suppressing me. Ruining my day. Didn't mean to steal your value. I walked past it in a perfect time. How are you doing today? I am good. Yeah, no complaints really. I just recorded my thing saying, "Hey everyone, I'm live. I'm live." So that's done. Yeah, I'm having a good day. No complaints really. Just living my life. Pretty standard day. Some pretty horrible news as always, but I guess so is life, you know. What do you expect? It's the news. I heard that the Beatles read it today and they were not happy. They had to say, "Oh boy." And my voice is still a bit hoarse from the weekend, I think, from chanting and shouting and swearing. From the Tommy Robinson march, which was a brilliant day out if you like racism. You're hot because you're wearing a sweater. Yeah, look at the weather in the UK. It's pissing it down right now. It's hardly summer. But yeah. You're looking tough, Chris. Yep, I am looking tough as always. But I am going to take this off. I got my... Please tell me you've watched Pulp Fiction. It's a Beam Me Up Softboy t-shirt. Good morning, Jadda Jabba. I hope you're having a nice day. The coverage of that event yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot to say about it. One of the things I do think, which I don't really quite know how to articulate properly, is, you know, it's obviously a really troubling incident, but the more troubling thing is just like the institutionalization of Islamophobia and kind of the way in which, you know, what is said and what is done is just sort of ignored. Like that Tommy Robinson march just kind of is allowed to go on, and there's no real discussion in UK politics about, you know, this guy saying, "Oh, I want to fight against, we need to be ready to fight." And it's like, what are you talking about? You're at this rally where you're talking about remigrating people. What does this mean? You keep talking about how all Muslims are fighting aged men. So it's like, I think it's the institutionalization that is so troubling. Like, the attack is obviously awful and repugnant. Seemingly, I mean, there's not that much out about the people who did it. There are photos of them with seemingly a Sonnenrad or some other kind of Nazi thing, but we'll talk about it in a bit.
It would be fucking day.
The modern US just hates everyone. Yeah. I mean, that is the interesting thing. You see a way higher prevalence of just, like, I don't know, actually, there are kind of there's a growing trend of it. Rupert Lowe's party's a bit more like that, and some of the people affiliated with it, like, they hate Jewish people just as equally as they hate Muslims. But, of course, that's never the kind of Islamophobia that we talk about. Oh, my God, I just... that felt so satisfying. I just flushed my nose with, what's it called? The squirty stuff, and it's fire. Feels very good. But yeah, I hope you're all having good days. I certainly am. We can do the Wordle quick time. And you guys are going, "No, don't do Ouija, don't do Ouija. Gives you all of the answers. But we won't do Ouija. We're going to do... Snipe. Oh. Hasty. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Rusty. Musty. Fusty. Lusty. Oh, fuck. Oh, crap. This is actually not as good a situation as I thought it was, because it could be lusty, musty, rusty, dusty, gusty. I feel like that would be gutsy. Well, I'm going to try rusty and see if that's it. Ah, fuck. It's just going to be like this. There we go. Brilliant. Yay. 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 It couldn't have been Patsy, or Pasty, because it was... We'd already used the A. We used the A second. Hasty was a good second guess, though. Because surprisingly, it wasn't girthy. Captain Kath, I just got it. Zesty. Oh, maybe it could have been zesty, except we'd used the E. I would have liked to have tried that. But I didn't try it. Busty. I didn't even think about Busty. And that's kind of your mind in the gutter. Mine is not. Up, it's Tuesday, lads. It is indeed Tuesday. I had to think about that for a second, but it is Tuesday, and I am... What is the MIDI? Oh, no. Making me subscribe to play the MIDI, and no. Is my light making me hot? I don't know what's making me hot. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm feeling extra hot right now. But we move. And just got to clean my glasses so I can see. Okay. You're on a 25 stream streak. Jesus Christ. By the way, I should make partner on Twitch, provided I hit 75 viewers today. Let me check that. Yeah. If I hit 75 viewers today, it means I hit partner. Well, it should. I don't really understand. I'm averaging 128 viewers, 120.8 viewers over there, so that's kind of cool. Stream to 25 unique days in the last 30 days. What? Sorry. Yeah, no, that is too much. Have 1,000 viewers at the same time. Stream for 250 hours total. Stream for 1,000. Kind of a big deal. Reach 250,000 hours of total watch time. Oh my god. Oh my god, guys! I need to 100% Twitch. Hopefully I will. 25 stream streak is crazy though. Forever songs by the Beach Boys. If every single word could make you laugh, I'd talk forever. My. Let the song I have for you live in your heart and be forever. I haven't watched the Ashley St. Clair. Maybe I should watch that. Why do you think it's Dr. Cook Fudge Alter? Why do you think it's that? Teeth. Teeth. Dini. Troy Dini? Yeah, Trot. They've done it for a reason. Is anti people who have the mental disability that makes it hard to comprehend when there are too many words in one place. Why do you think it's founder? Could it be something to do with these? I have to use my 5G and my cook chat. Yep, they're gonna insert whatever into your brain. That's what the 5G does to you. I once met someone who told me that one of the reasons that a certain university in the UK had the most mental health issues is because they have the 5G tower nearest to the campus. And congratulations on starting the estrogen patches. I assume. Because you're okay. Oh, wait. So not so. Congratulations, I guess. But I hope that you're doing okay. I think you might be right. Teeth, babble, blubber, and what was the other one you thought? Cry? No. Cry, babble. Do you think it's those? I think it's actually one of these that goes with it. Nurse, founder, Dini? I don't know. Oh. Surgeon, nurse, doctor, salon? Is that it? Oh, fuck off. Alter, doctor. Oh, fudge, alter, doctor. Yeah, cook, doctor. A sexed up dossier of lies. Yeah, nice. Very, 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 very good. Do babies cook? Yeah. Babies are always cooking. Babble, blubber, cry. What's the other? I think you're right. Because lemon. I did see you posted it, but I didn't see your explanation. Oh, I missed your explanation. I apologize. That is my bad. We just tried teeth, and it's not correct. Nurse? Oh wait, no. Babble, cry, teeth. It's these. Words associated with babies. Flounder, trout, salmon. What's the other one? What's the other fish with a missing sturgeon? Oh, I thought it was sturgeon. No, that was great. That was right. Oh, wait, I must have clicked. Wait, what did I click wrong? Oh, I must have had one of the others on. I must have misclicked. You got that right. I just misclicked. I don't know how I managed that. Someone will have to roll the replay. I don't know how I got that wrong. I don't know what I clicked there. Who the fuck is Judy Bloom? I thought it was sturgeon, but I could only think of Nicholas Sturgeon. I couldn't actually think of any other reason it would be. I must have just had forever still highlighted. I don't know why. That was moronic. I do apologise. Who is Judy Bloom? Super Fudge. Judy Bloom is an American. She's an American and what's Dini? It's about a 13-year-old. I will not be reading that. Wow, she writes novels focused on such controversial topics as masturbation, menstruation, teen sex, birth control, and death. Her novels have sold over 82 million copies. Okay, maybe not so much of an American, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she's one of the good ones. Who knows? Also, the nickname of the head writer on Last Week Tonight, Judy Bloom. I've never heard of her as well. Dini is a novel. Yeah, I got no idea, mate. Sorry, I just put my fan on so it can do my legs. Oh, that is a treat. Right, we'll do time duel. No, wiki trivia. The wiki trivia is awesome. This is actually better than these stupid games. Right, let's do the daily wiki trivia. Okay. Nebuchadnezzar II, king of Babylon, dies. Gaza war begins. Gaza genocide, excuse me, Wikipedia. That's going to go... I'm going to have to move myself to the top. Obviously, the Gaza genocide surprisingly began after 561 BCE. Battling Crassus's... is that Marcus Linnæus Crassus? I mean, it's obviously here, right? Super Mario Odyssey releases. A bit of an interesting one. This one's obviously going to be here, right? 2017. Nazi Germany, 1932. Or is it 33? No, as in like when it's actually formally established. 33. Mosque Cathedral of Cordoba is completed. Former mosque in Cordoba. I mean, oh my god. When do you think this is? Good day, Christina Pepina. I'm having a nice day. I hope you are too. My favourite Brit is here. When do you think this is? The Mosque Cathedral of Cordoba is completed? Because it's a bit of a misleading one. It obviously has a modern photo. But the major issue is that it feels like this could have been completed quite a while ago. Do I love Twitch or YouTube chat more? Neither. I love them both equally. It's like asking someone to name their favourite child. When do you think this was completed? I mean, I'm going to go here. No. 786. I knew it was a trick. St. James's Palace is completed. Okay, that's going there. Just definitely. American Idol airs for the first time. I mean, some of these are really hard. It's like, okay, when is it? When is it? There. That's there. No Country for Old Men. That's like 2009, I think. 2008, 2007. It's between 2007 and 2009. Great Expectations, 1860 something. Or no, not that late, but 1800s. 1861. Wow. Safavid dynasty begins. That's here. No? Wait, when did the Safavids begin? When did the Safavid dynasty begin? So the Qajars are like 200 years, so it must be around here? Is that right? When did Safavids begin? Ooh. Does anyone know when the Safavids began without looking it up? Is it... Wait, are the Safavids really far back? Ooh. No, the Safavids are here. The Safavids are here, I'm pretty sure. No! Oh, it's 1500. Oh, damn. Oh, fuck. Pantheon is completed. Oh, my God. Here, I'm going to go for... Oh, no. Oh, this is rubbish. We'll see if Time Duel's better. Fuck. That was rubbish by me. I do deeply apologise. Safavid sounds quite long ago. Yeah, it was kind of... The sun face is pretty retro. I knew it wasn't as old as you'd think, because Iran was ruled for 2,500 years of monarchy, but it was ruled by different ones. So you had the Qajar dynasty, you had the Pahlavi dynasty. Pahlavis came much later. The Battle of the Scots defeat English army. Well, I think that will definitely be before Andrescu wins US Open. Yeah. Modern Family pilot airs. Well, I mean, that's there. It's got to be like 2000 and something. Yeah, 2009. British gold Oh, when was the British gold standard price crisis? Damn, I don't even know. My mum's favourite child was my cousin before he died. Well, I'm sorry to hear that your cousin died. That's awful. British gold standard crisis. I'm going to go here. Yeah, it wasn't that recently. Oh my God, when was Italy unified? Here? I don't think it was unified that early. Yep. Oh, I mean, that's here. Former peasant takes Byzantine throne. Oh. Yeah. Medici Bank establishment. It's going to be here. Or here. No, it's going to be here. I think it's here. When was the Medici Bank established? Oh my gosh. Oh. I hope I don't get sunburnt. I don't know. When was this? God, here. Yes! Electric telegraph belt. Probably here. Probably here or here. I have a feeling they had telegraphs during the... oh, God. Yeah, I would probably say... I had a friend when I was younger and they never used sun cream. They probably should scare you more, the sun and UV rays. And I know, also, by the way, I'm not like a big... I haven't watched a Tarantino film. I think a lot of Tarantino films are shit. I think particularly one of the ones that I dislike the most is... What's it called? Inglourious Bastards. Right, where does this go? Electric telegraph. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here or here. Here? Nah. When do you think they sent the first telegraph? When do you think they sent the first telegraph? I don't fucking know. Here? 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 I don't want to go because I've done really well. Electric telegraph bill. No, I don't know. I told you. I fucking told you. I listened to you. I listened to you. And then you got it wrong. The Dark Knight's... Oh my god, Dark Knight's 2000... Isn't Dark Knight 2009? Is it 2009? Is it? I could have sworn The Dark Knight is released in 2009. Or is that when Batman... No, it's 2012. No, is that... What was released in 2012? When did The Dark Knight Rises come out? I could have sworn it's 2009. 2008. What, you think it's 2008? I don't think it is... Actually, I think you might be right. I think it is 2008. Ooh, whoever said that was goated. MKMT. Was there a shooting in 2008? There was, wasn't there? Wasn't there some shooting? Batman shooting. Oh no, that was 2012. Oh, that was Dark Knight Rises. Rather than Dark Knight. Interesting. Battle does he just write roles for himself? I have no idea. I mean, Tarantino's a big fan of Zionism, so he's always going to be a racist. Yeah. He lives in Israel, and he's weird. He's weird. All of the foot stuff's a little weird. The only people who ever message me is they're like, "Oh, can you do some AI brand collaboration?" Looking forward to the Odyssey. Not that fussed. I've not. I mean, I haven't seen. I think Nolan's. I've not seen Nolan's probably the best film I've heard, which is Memento. And I've not seen The Prestige since I was really young. And his Batman films are really good. The Dark Knight Rises, though, is... it's okay. The Dark Knight Rises is okay. The Dark Knight is very good. Batman Begins is okay. What are Nolan's films? I've never seen... Did he make Interstellar? I've never seen Interstellar. So, I've never seen Oppenheimer, never seen Inception, never seen Tenet, never seen Dunkirk. No, I haven't seen actually that many Nolan films. Insomnia, haven't seen Man of Steel, haven't seen any of his films, really. So, yeah. Do you want us to start sending you funny reels? Well, I send Isaac funny reels, and he likes them, so I already have enough funny reels. I send a lot of people funny reels, often to no responses. A lot of people who I send funny reels to don't even bother responding to them. Isaac sent me one of Karl Marx, which I don't think I could show. It's like some fake video of someone with like a beard filter on, and they start coughing, and they go, and it's like Marx if he was alive today.
Was actually born in the area.
Sorry, I accidentally played something. Also thinks he needs to build a lightweight aircraft because Israel is at war. There are many terrorists in... My dad loves Tarantino, and also thinks he needs to build a lightweight aircraft because Israel is at war and there are many terrorists in Canada. Your dad sounds like he's got some interesting beliefs, to say the least. The least. Well, I heard what's interesting about what's interesting about Oppenheimer is it doesn't make any mention of the most interesting part about the nuclear bomb, which is that Russia was about to invade, and weren't the Japanese banking on the fact that Russia wasn't going to invade, and that's why they thought that they could maybe stand a chance, and then the SU declared war. Wait, Soviet Union, wasn't it literally on the same day that was it which one was dropped first, Fat Man or Little Boy? Little Boy, right? Because that's how the song Enola Gay dropped Little Boy, because I know it. Enola Gay is mother proud of little boy today. Words can't describe the feeling and the way you lied. First nuclear bomb dropped on Japan. Yeah, the first atomic bomb was dropped on the August the 6th, and the Soviet Union formally declared war on the 8th. But I think it was known that they were going to declare war before that, I'm pretty sure. Oh, so it was known even before. Oh, wow. So that's it. It wasn't the day before. They dropped it like right close to the end of his opportunity to join in. Do I refer to Canadians as Leafs? No. Fat Man and Little Boy. That's because that's their names. It's not Batman. It's Fat Man and Little Boy. Is that it? Wait. Names of the nukes. Names of nuclear bombs dropped on Little Boy and Fat Man. Little Boy was dropped on Hiroshima by Enola Gay, and Fat Man was also dropped by someone who I don't know who it was. I know. Did Enola Gay drop both? Drop the Little Boy. Enola Gay only dropped Little Boy. I don't know what dropped Fat Man, but that's what they're called. That's what they named the bombs. It's quite sadistic, really. So happy I watched Barbie instead. Probably is better. I haven't seen Oppenheimer because I only watch movies with John Travolta in them because he has aura and swag. I watched an okay film with a remake of some film that he's in, John Travolta. I can't remember what it was called. It was pretty good though. I watched it not long ago. It's called, I've seen Grease, and he was in some film that I can't remember the name of. That's a remake. I think it might be called, I actually have no idea. Someone asked if I have Letterboxd. I do. It's just my name. What's it called? There's some film that's a remake where he's like obsessed with sound in it. Blowout. That's what it is. It's a remake of a film called Blow Up, which is shit. Did you not know those were the names of the nuclear bombs? I just know it. And also, the time in Hiroshima stopped. All of the clocks stopped at it's 8:15. The time it's always been. How does it go? It's 8:15. Now that's the time that it's always been. It's always been. It's 8:15, and that's the time it's always been. Yeah, they dropped it, and that was the time it had always been. John Travolta was in Hairspray. I've never seen Hairspray. Yeah, I've never seen it. It's not something I've watched. Also, John Travolta is a scientologist weirdo. I mean, scientists are also weirdos, but yeah, I know he's into Scientology as well, which is not based. It is even, one might say, cringe. God, I love reading through my comments. I just got a comment on one of my videos saying, "You blaming them for your own bigotry?" Yeah, I'm blaming Israel. Travolta is in Pulp Fiction. I know he is. I don't even know what his character's called. So's Bruce Willis. Both bombs being dropped during my studies. It still haunts me. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Well, I mean, it is crazy that that happened. It's not kind of crazy. It's absolutely insane that that was an aspect of our history. Well, it's more American history, but they fucking dropped bombs on people. That they dropped people. Also, someone just followed me on Letterboxd. Hello to whoever that was. Oh god, no. Gal Gadot needs to be blacklisted. Yeah, the clocks all stopped at 8:15. It's from, if you've never heard Enola Gay by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, it's really good. It's a song about the dropping of the nuclear bombs. And I know most of it from that. That's how I knew that Enola Gay dropped Little Boy, otherwise I'd have no idea. But yeah, it's a good song. I like it. If you guys like arts, you should watch Peasants from Each Frame Was Hand Painted. I've never heard of that. Sounds interesting. Kal-El! No! In Pulp Fiction has a cool name. Yeah, I liked it when Peter Hegseth quoted his little thing. Also, sorry, I really want to watch this clip because I have a little factoid about this. If you're a fan of Peep Show and Succession, this video sounds interesting. Yeah.
Hey, what's a fucking lefty?
What's the reason you're out here today, bruv?
Bored, innit? You know?
Bored?
No.
Little drink up.
I'm here, right, to be truthful, I'm here to make a statement of all our poor, defenceless women, children getting raped and fucked, old pensioners getting punched by evil people, like coward fuckers, yeah, in England, with that, and people like Wally's videoing it, like, instead of fucking doing something. That's
This is a very coherent set of political beliefs.
what I'm here for, to make action, mate. This is what it should be. Be here to stop it happening.
If you was in charge, yeah?
Video some woman getting it, or some baby.
If you was in charge, what would you do to change? Sorry, bro. If you was in charge, what would you do to make our country better?
Of course I would.
If you was in charge, what would you do?
I'd be like Mr. Rupert, mate.
By the way, his jeans, those distressed jeans, are crazy.
No fucking nonsense. No fucking turn around. You might as well turn around or I'll sink you in the ocean. I'll introduce a little tropical fish called Jaws to make our fucking country safe.
It's very interesting because that was the only part that I wanted to listen to the incoherent babble for. A tropical fish called Jaws. Now, the fish is obviously not called Jaws. The film is called Jaws. The shark is not called Jaws. But in both Succession and Peep Show, they mention Jaws the shark. If Jaws was Succession line, it's actually quite a funny line from Succession. What does he say? It's like Jaws if everyone in Jaws worked for Jaws. It's actually a great line. He must have had them for a long time. Yeah, bro's got some distressed ass jeans. I mean, this guy, I don't really know. He's kind of like, I mean, of course, I think he's, yeah. I don't think his name is Jaws. I don't think the shark is named in Jaws. I don't think there is a name for the shark. I think you should probably just leave this. His name is Jaws. It's not. Fuck me. I can't believe this is going to turn into a cure. What is the shark's name in Jaws? The shark is famously named Bruce. Yeah, the shark's called fucking Bruce. So it's not called Jaws. The shark in Jaws is not called Jaws. The shark doesn't have a hat, no. It's not Jaws, it's Bruce. You can look it up. AI told me at first, but there is the fandom. So I'm not sure about what this guy's up to. He's just like one of these sort of, I don't know, there's another guy whose name escapes my mind who does like Bricks News, and he's like, Pakistan is going to blow up Israel, and Iran is going to blow up Israel, and that's the kind of stuff that he does. But yeah, this guy I think does similar-ish stuff. But he took who yeah, just this is what he's up to.
Why you got Israel
They took some Jewish British guy to the pro-Israel march.
flag?
Yes,
Bro,
save him, bro.
Why the fuck you got Israel flag at a British march?
We're talking right now about the Nakba right now, and we're saying how Israel was created was because they expelled people in 1948.
They didn't expel anybody.
Name an Israeli historian that claims Palestinians weren't expelled. Name.
By the way, obviously this is a great point to make because none of these people know anything about Palestine. But the other issue is that you could definitely find an Israeli historian that says this. I know. That's why there are a lot of references, both written by Jesse Armstrong. It's fine, it was blurred out. I didn't think it would be posting that. It was blurred out. I can't change that.
One historian.
He's using the word Palestine or Palestinian, and it confuses me because I don't deal with a made-up.
By the way, also the notion that the notion that Palestine is made up, it's actually amazing because it's actually amazing because the Israelis were like, we are moving to Palestine. They were talking about Palestine a year before. The name Israel was not even mentioned. They just called it a Jewish state up to a year before.
The word Palestine existed for like thousands of years before that. Herodotus, probably the first historian in history, called it Palestine.
By the way, this is also true. Palestine existed thousands of years ago. It was not created in the context of Syria, Palestina, to punish the Jews. This is not true.
Palestina.
It was the Romans who invented the word Palestinia.
That's not true. That's a myth. That was something that they said.
You need to study history.
You need to study history, brother.
It was the Romans who invented.
This is a theory. It's not actually true. I've actually studied this on an academic level.
I'd trust the guy drinking a star of Brahman.
This is all Zionist propaganda that has no base.
They're killing children, bro.
He doesn't know his history.
This is meant to be a
What's Hamas doing?
Huh? What do you mean, what's happening? What are you calling it?
Like, this is the kind of person you're talking to, someone who knows nothing. I don't even know when the last time Hamas killed a child was.
Dickhead, bro.
Is that who you support? Why are you here?
Why are you This is a Britain. This is a Britain
Why are you
protest.
here?
It's a British.
Go to Tommy. Go to Tommy.
Oh,
Go
tell
watch
Tom.
his stuff
This is a
when he's
Britain.
in Israel.
This is a.
By the way, just imagine being like, go to chat to Tommy Robinson. Like, I'm sorry, would you trust anyone who receives payment for making their content from a foreign state? Would you trust them on what you're going to understand about it? Or, I'm sorry, on what you plan to learn about it? Because that's exactly what Tommy Robinson does. He's paid up fully by Israel. He gets paid by them.
Britain protest. Why you got the Israel flag?
You
Huh?
supported
No, I support Palestine. I support humanity,
Go
bro.
to the other protest then.
Look at this woman just having a meltdown.
Why are you so angry?
Why aren't you on the Nakba protest then?
Why are you so
Like
angry?
you are so
Why are you on the neck?
I'm just
brainwashed.
asking
Why
a
are you
simple
on the
question.
Nakba
Why is he
protest?
waving an Israel flag? It's a British protest.
Yeah,
Go
and
to
they
the
align,
other
they're
protest.
allies.
If you support Palestine,
You're not
go
in
to
their
the other
allies.
Why is there an
protest.
Israel flag
Go
at
to
the
the
Britain protest?
protest. Go to the
Why are you so
protest.
angry?
Go to the
Chill down,
pro-Palestine.
calm down.
No, go to the pro-Palestine protest.
This is a pro-Britain
It's over
protest.
there.
No,
It's over
anti-Semite.
there.
Anti-Semite.
Are you
Why
an
are you
anti-Semite?
Why?
talking
Because I'm
about
asking why is it
It's interesting as well, saying a Semite. It sounds like you're talking about a little creature in the ocean.
Israel flag at a Britain
When
protest?
you're
He was anti-Semitic to oppose-Zionism.
Opposed Zionism?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why is it? Okay, so my family, Jews from Eastern Europe, they didn't want to join
How
party.
do I know that? Okay, you can say
I can show you right now a picture of me at the wedding.
God, this audio is horrible.
Alright, okay, say again. Carry on.
My family, Eastern European Jews.
Don't you get money from Qatar? I don't get enough money from Qatar. Qatar haven't paid for my trip there yet.
Yeah.
Who lived in Lithuania in the Russian Empire.
Let me ask you one question
Yeah.
though. Do you believe that Jews have the right to self-determination?
I think
And of course these people are cattle. All of this stuff about fucking Jewish people having a right to self-determination, that is never, ever, ever, ever what any of this was about. It was always about whether Palestinians whether it was okay to expel Palestinians, basically.
the issue with the question is because they created the state by expelling 750,000 people.
That's not true.
That's a history. Okay, name one.
That's false.
Name one Israeli
That's a lie.
historian.
They didn't
name
expel.
one Israeli historian who still claims that. The new historians just prove that myth. Name one historian.
Go and read it.
What? No, he doesn't.
Don't back away. Don't back away.
He's running away. He's running away.
This has some of the worst audio
You
ever.
believe a load of anti-Semitic bullshit.
This is where I want to be on the Tommy Robinson march, depicting debating idiots.
Oh no! Free Palestine! We're not actually with these Free Palestine, bro!
God, look at that flag!
Bro, put it away. Yeah, glory to the martyrs, guys. England Palestine, forever.
Bro, come on. Why are you holding up an England flag if you're pro-Palestine? Definitely an interesting one to hear from him. Definitely an interesting one. But the other thing about Israel's right, recognizing anything about Israel is just whether you recognize the history being moral and just the way it was founded. And I don't think it is copyright music. Have they been given to them by the Israeli Foreign Ministry? I know. Well, Israel's kind of moved away from denying the Nakba. They're now just like, yeah, the Nakba happened. But as it turned out, it was actually done by Arab leaders, which is a claim that is not true. But I mean, genuinely, these people do think it's anti-Semitic to talk about history. Like, genuinely, you've got to understand these people are like, they don't know anything about Palestine. And, you know, the people who try and debate it better, they don't know anything really. It's just about learning specific points. England is what caused this to happen in the first place. Yep. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, England played such a role. But you know what? Part of me is like, I was kind of thinking today, because I've been scrolling TikTok, Instagram Reels in the morning. And, you know, aside from the AI videos of fruit cheating on each other, which I like, I want to find out what's happening with the AI fruit. The AI fruit are cheating on each other, and that is something that we should be looking into. But I am just getting an increasing amount of videos with, like, hundreds of thousands of likes that are just straight up moronic, that are, like, real stupid shit. That are like, well, bankers, the central bank made America join World War I. And it's like, well, I mean, you can talk about Wall Street's investments in it. Like, Twos makes the argument in The Deluge. Like, I'm not a World War I historian. Like, the only serious academic literature I've read is just the Deluge. But he talks about how, like, it's to do with the German U-boat campaign, and also because the Allies had become too big to fail, that Wall Street was continually lobbying for this. But then I'm just hearing about how apparently, like, actually it's to do with because the central bank said so. No, the bananas served in the IOF. Fuck. I mean, it's not even just Professor Jang pilled, it's just the internet is just increasingly becoming, like, moronic. Like, just straight up the most low IQ conspiracy theories you could imagine. The Zionists were well prepared to invade Palestine before the Israel agreement. I mean, this is the thing. How Palestine was, like, destroyed and invaded was through a process aided and abetted by the British. There are a ton of books about this. Policies of Deceit, which I don't even remember who it's by. One Palestine Complete maybe isn't as good, but Policies of Deceit is a more recent one. I've not seen the YTP Professor Zhang. I don't know. Professor Zhang is just like, I think people really do want to believe these conspiracy theories, or they just want to watch really short videos that kind of, who's the golf lady who explains things? Like golf, not golf. She like plays golf. This.
Standardized textbooks of our American education.
Lincoln Park was a military base. In July 1980, Cosmopolitan magazine. Did you know that the national emergency number 911 was established in 1968?
This.
Which was actually the same year that David Rockefeller announced the construction of the Twin Towers. And it happened to be 33 years before 9/11. I didn't know.
Like, why does this have 258k likes?
Oh, a number could make me so angry. Anyways, this is my driver.
What is this? What is this?
It was just an accident.
Like, some of these videos are good, but what's that? Just 33. Like, well, this has 250,000 fucking likes.
Don't forget that we gave up our right to privacy with the U.S. Patriot Act that came as a result of...
Like, it'll be interspersed with something like this that is true.
...the attacks on 9/11. The government needed a way to surveil and investigate everyone's personal devices, including...
By the way, I know I'm constantly talking about TrueAnon and what TrueAnon are up to, but TrueAnon have a really good podcast with some guy, and they're talking about the new reality of AI, and this is the craziest aspect that I've not heard many other people talk about, which is how we now, for the first time, do not know whether a human whether a human created an image, which is like a crazy advent. And they were talking about psyops and how magicians were like recruited by the CIA and stuff like that. Worst Emily, Prime membership ended with Hassan. Exactly, you should be using it here. Hassan has way too many subscribers, so Worst Emily, thank you so much for supporting the fucking channel. But yeah, I don't know, I just like... There are, of course, all of these weird and inexplicable events, and largely how conspiracy theories operate are... Conspiracy theories operate basically on the basis of the fact that, first of all, human memory is faulty, so we're always going to get initial reports that are like, okay, this thing happened, and then people will be like, well, that thing wasn't there, and this person reported that it was, so this means that there's something being taken away from us. And it doesn't help as well that there are loads of conspiracy theories that were real, like loads of really serious conspiracy theories that were a real thing. I think that that is particularly problematic with historical because of the lower quality. It's even real ones now. It's so hard to know whether something's real. And I wonder how much debate on the internet will now be consumed whether something is real or not. And yeah, I mean, the mentalist thing is crazy, and like how you do it. It's mostly to do with understanding human psychology, right? But yeah, I don't know. It's just what about us tier 3 subbers? Tier 3 subbers. The tier 3 subbers are the masses which uplift my program. It's an edit. What, you want me to watch a Professor Zhang YouTube poop? I mean, Drag the Ripper, you're on thin ice, mate. Asking me to watch a watching a fucking video like that. Hold on, Professor. If this is bad, Drag, you are going to be in trouble. There's going to be hell to pay. What's it called? And I know the photos from Gaza is like an awful aspect of this. I don't know why. I assume
If you connect the dots and follow the pattern, you'll see that transhumanism's end goal is to upload everyone's consciousness to the cloud. And I'm not kidding. They believe this because they believe that consciousness is eternal. It doesn't die. So they want it here connected to the material. Now, the Egyptians were doing this a long time ago. It was basically really dark resurrection magic that never ended well. And now the elites are doing it too by buying cryonic chambers to be frozen in so that once people stop believing that it's predictive programming and realizing that this is a cultic practice, everything will change. In 1998, there was a movie that came out called Snake Eyes, starring Nicolas Cage, and in it there's a politician named Charles Kirkland.
Oh, no. I've accidentally clicked on something. I'm really intrigued by what this is.
Once people stop believing that it's predictive...
I can't believe I fucked up and clicked on some random person's profile.
...programming and realizing that this is a cultic practice, everything will change. In 1998, there was a movie that came out called Snake Eyes, starring Nicolas Cage, and in it, there's a politician named Charles Kirkland who is shot in the neck and assassinated on September 10th. And in real life, Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck and died on September 10th. That's supernatural. I have a hard time believing that that's predictive, because
I mean, I will say, like, there are explanations for this. Also, Drac, I realized, I was thinking about what we were talking about, right? When you were talking about psychoanalysis and the stuff you disagreed with of it, I do actually think, I kind of see what you're talking about, especially with, like, the pop psychoanalysis of people like fucking Hitler, that you think that you could understand everything that Hitler did and, like, diagnose everything about him, and, like, people who were like, Hitler likes getting pissed on, or whatever they were saying back in time. And this lady seems to just play golf. No, I'm now getting golf. I got the Straits of Hormuz on my fucking mind. Is it a coincidence that this lady plays golf and the golf is in the news right now? I don't even fucking know. I don't even fucking know. Like, yeah. But where I find, like, psychoanalysis, because I always mention this, the craziest one is the Wreck of the Titan. Like, the Wreck of the Titan is, you know, a politician with the name, I assume the name Kirkland. Kirkland was already a brand in America. Charlie is a very common name. So picking that, like, it's not out of the realms of possibility. A politician being assassinated, you know, a film 1998, you can be like, well, that had happened. The big assassination had been the assassination of, Yitzhak Rabin, maybe, other assassinations. There was an assassination attempt on the Pope, but that was before. But the Wreck of the Titan is the fucking craziest. This was 14 years. This guy, Morgan Robertson, wrote a book called The Wreck of the Titan, which is about a ship that hits an iceberg. It has basically the same dimensions as the Titanic, and what is the explanation for how this happened? Now, Morgan Robertson was someone who was apparently quite fearful of a coming disaster, and what they thought that this coming disaster would come in the form of was something that he understood, which was ships. They were really disconnected from the coming disaster as well, because they were all really rich humans who kind of had, like, this separate society, and so it was kind of like how this was produced does have, like, some logic. The Adventures of Baron Trump. Chris, what are we watching? Are we the occult? Mama, thank you for the £2. Yeah. We're now joining the occult. This is now me posting the most insane stuff imaginable. Like, what is this? That looks like Baron. The novels recount the adventures of the German boy, Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian von Trump, who goes by Baron Trump, as he discovers weird underground civilizations, offends the natives, flees from his entanglements with local women, and repeats this pattern until arriving back at Castle Trump. What the fuck? Next stream I'm going to be doing tarot cards. But no, I was just talking about, like, sort of, what's
the government
this one? Let's have a look at this
has
one.
openly admitted to spraying chemicals in the air to either dim the sun or just test some biological weapons on us. They use silver iodide to promote rainfall, which is, I would argue, weather modification. Then they also spray reflective particles in the sky so that the sun's rays aren't as hot on the earth. And then, my favorite, is they use bacteria stimulants to see how quickly bacteria in the sky can spread. Just studying how quickly we can get sick. Not actually trying to make us sick, though, right? It was just to study how quickly we could all get sick.
Okay, maybe. But they're all just posting about chemtrails here. Brilliant. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't find the Zhang YTP. There's only ones that have like 200 views. I believe her. Oh, fuck Balatro. Sorry, what are you all talking about? Yeah, the Professor Zhang YTP never existed. What does Professor Zhang... What is he even talking about?
The UAE seen as though it was a very prosperous place. At universities from America, like Georgetown, Cornell, it had people, the wealthiest people, flocking to Dubai. It seemed invincible. But the moment you attack the UAE, like Iran just lobs a missile at UAE, the illusion shatters. And now the UAE is gone. That's how precarious these hallucinations are. One hit at the right spot, the entire illusion is shattered. You can never bring it back. The UAE...
I mean, once again, I think that these are very, 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 very broad, very broad predictions. Okay, Professor Zhang makes sense. Okay. Is this a joke? Have you just made me search Professor Zhang makes sense? No, it isn't. It isn't. There is nothing here. I can't find it. What is this? What if your mind comes from your brain? Doesn't come from your brain. You know what? I can't find this. I don't think it's real. Yeah, who is learning this? There must be some Chinese kids who know everything in the world. I think it got deleted. Yeah, Zhang couldn't allow that. I'm gonna go pee. Give me a second. I'm sorry, I've just had 2 coffees. That's probably why. Right. Hello. No one has the YouTube poop link. It doesn't exist anymore, it seems. Okay, right. Let's just look at things. Oh yeah, have any of you seen this discourse? I mean, there are quite a few Muslims in here, so you can talk about this. This is this guy, etymology nerd, saying something here. He also had a video where he said, okay, wait, maybe this Professor Zhang thing does work. It does.
If you're a poor person who lives under a lot of stress, there's something wrong with you. If you want to survive, too late. Give up. Get 10 credit cards, minimum, and then gamble on athletes, like a boss. But if you're a rich person, great for you. I'm game. Okay, so there's no incentive for me to live. If you are a poor person, dog, that's problematic, okay? Problems. First problem is, in terms of IQ, you are a 4-year-old or 5-year-old dog and you're stupid. Julius Caesar was saying the same thing. Same thing, man. And then the third issue, of course, is landlessness. Okay? You have no land, so you don't really matter. Another way of saying this is you're canceled, but your boss, right? Nope, wrong. You are low status. If you're a poor child dog, no one cares. Go away.
I'll beat the crap out of you.
Okay, because poor kids are stupid like Donald Trump.
I'm a poor kid who succeeded because I worked hard and I'm really talented.
Like Donald Trump. One way to succeed is to abandon your community. The Russia-Ukraine war is really big and costs $1 million. $1 million. And the Cold War was a war between Germany, France, and me. Everyone else. Now, the great irony of all this is that Israel is a hallucination which will destroy the American empire.
And again,
This ship makes no sense at all. So what I want to do now is go to the map. Okay. All right. So this is a map. And as you can see on this map.
Wait, he was on Diary of a CEO. Jesus Christ.
The first thing to notice about this map is water. Wrong. It's how
That's not real.
vulnerable the global economy is. And so this is a document. So let's go back to this map, okay? Okay. So if you look at a map, it's a very, what's really interesting is that this is a map of the Middle East. What's that? Goodness. Good God. Sex. Money. Power. All three. 5 boys and 5 girls. China and Japan. There's one guy. We all die. One guy. We all die. Remember that men have a penis and post it on Instagram. That means that you love Israel. I'm just saying it's a theory. It's just a theory. It is.
What could even be the relevance of this? GDP per capita? What, that generally poorer nations have higher birth rates?
Game theory, as a man, you come from your penis. It's the most painful experience in this really screwed up world that we live in. Why? Because of immigration. I'm racist and I'm evil. The yellow race, they're very clever. And then the white race, they're kind of stupid. And the black people, like, anyway. So how do we rank them? Let's think about this rationally. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay?
Okay, I enjoyed my Professor Zhang edit. Thank you for that. We'll now participate in some online discourse about the term wallahi. I think, by the way, the reason that they're talking about the term wallahi is because there's that whole meme where there's like the song that goes, "Say wallahi, bro, say wallahi, bro." I should make partner theoretically already. Say wallahi, bro song. Anyway, so let's see this.
Wallahi is becoming the new bomboclat. Like, at this point, most people are just using the phrase to mean the same thing as on God in English, but there's a far deeper meaning that's been compressed in the translation. I mean, Muslim culture still treats invoking God as a far more serious thing than modern Western culture, so the word wallahi is only really said in Arabic when someone is actually swearing a very important oath.
See, I used to think some of this was, I used to think sometimes that, like, things like this was true. I remember I had one lecturer, and he just went, he went la ilaha illallah, and he was raised Muslim. I don't know if he still practiced, but anyway, he said it when someone got a verb, the ending of a verb incorrect, or the conjugation of a word wrong in like a Persian lesson, and one of the students was like, isn't that meant to be for like a really serious situation? And he was just like, he just kind of shrugged his shoulders.
However, in recent years, some people in Muslim American and internet meme communities have started using it more casually, culminating in the I Show Speed clip that's fully turned say wallahi into a brain rot phrase. Within a few years, it's probably going to lose most of its context, which is exactly what already happened with the term.
By the way, total cultural victory from Islam. This is what it looks like, the Muslimic takeover of the West. Yeah, conjugating the verb incorrectly is a very, 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 very offensive behavior, and I apologize to my lecturer for my incorrect conjugation.
Bumbleclot 7 years ago. In Jamaican patois, the interjection was considered a serious expletive until it was also turned into a meaningless joke on Twitter. And all this is part of a much broader phenomenon of English speakers using foreign words because they sound funny. Think of the Terminator saying
I don't know what the origin of the C word is, but obviously the C word, I don't repeat it because YouTube is going to demonetize me for it. Thanks, YouTube. But the C word is, the C word is obviously not offensive in the UK or Australia, but it's still really offensive in America. Like in The Sopranos, the way they use it is not pleasant. And I know la ilaha illallah means there is no God but Allah. And like I had, they were Kurdish, but they used to say, mashallah, bro, this guy, about everything. Whether they did something good, whether they did something bad, they just thought it was hilarious.
La vista baby, or people ironically calling themselves a stupid baka. Both of those jokes rely on exoticizing another culture's language for their own benefit, all while immigrants in the United States are expected.
I don't even know if it is exoticizing another person's language. It's just like sometimes turns of phrase are kind of funny, but like inshallah is also way better, and to an English speaker, it, just from my own opinion, sounds way less serious than going, if God wills it. And I know that's exactly what it means. But yeah, I don't know.
To speak perfect English. But this kind of humor is far more damaging for words like bumbleclot, wallahi, and inshallah, because the original importance of each
I like how he displayed the inshallah they will find him, the Finding Nemo thing.
Each term is completely stripped away from its culture for our own amusement. The point of those words was to be meaningful, and the point of brain rot is to be meaningless. So when we turn those words into jokes, we lose their original value.
I mean, like, inshallah hasn't lost its value. It is actually a term being adopted in, like, English with its exact meaning. Wallahi, maybe not so much, and it is, like, turning into a, and it is turning into a phrase like that, but this is also second-generation people kind of saying it. And in the UK, a lot of, I don't even know if it's true, a lot of slang in the UK comes from generally Caribbean people, and I think it transmits over to Canada. I think a bit, but I don't know if that's true. And also, it's not brain rot to say inshallah. I'm not saying it is. The thing about wallahi is the way they're talking about, like, this fucking thing that's now accompanying brain rot videos of just going, say wallahi, bro, say wallahi, bro.
There's no way. There's
Seemingly this comes from this video of I Show Speed, which I'm going to pre-watch.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Say you swear to God. Say you swear to God. Put that on Allah. Say put that on Allah. Say wallahi, bro. Say.
This is it. So this short section of this clip has turned into like a sped up song.
On Allah. Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
If you've not heard it, you probably will. It's like this thing that just goes, say wallahi, bro, say wallahi, bro. Do you like Emma Vigeland? Maybe I don't hate her as much, because I'm not, I guess the thing is a lot of these people have disappointed a lot of you, but I never really watched many of these people anyway, and I'm sure she does some good, but I'm not, as you guys know, I'm not fond of the Platner stuff, you know, but I just feel like I've made my opinion about Platner very clear. I don't care for Platner, I'm not interested in Platner, I don't think it's good, and I think the major issues aren't even his fucking tattoo, which is obviously heinous, but that doesn't surprise me. But the worst part is, you know, the stuff he posted about how much he enjoyed killing people, and I think it's very disappointing of, like, people kind of holding him up, but I don't live there. and I don't care enough about like these specific races in America. Of course, the presidential election is significant, but like, yeah. And what's an exact translation of wallahi? What, swear to God? Yeah. Okay, that's yeah. Yalla Habibi, who I trust because they've got that name. But Habibi's nice, and like, I guess I don't say it as much because I don't speak it, but like Azizam I always really liked, which means my dear. It's like the equivalent of Habibi in Persian. I always really liked that, and I used to say it a bit more than I do now. I always really, really like that. But yeah, I guess phrases like on God, like I think about how much I say Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is something that one would say like its seriousness has been undermined because I'm engaging in blasphemy and invoking the name of God. I'm blaspheming. And I guess we all say I swear to God. What is Habibi for non-binary people, or is it genderless? Habibi just means like my dear, my love, my sweet. I just always, I kind of like Azizam. Well, I was just part of normal use saying. Yeah, it's like so much. Doesn't French have a major issue with this in terms of the French are really obsessed that their colonization has come back to bite them in the ass because they forced everyone to learn their language, and now they're really worried about their own language being like altered because of the things that have come back. So wesh wesh is an example, like what's up, right? They say like wesh wesh. Or just wesh. It's like, it means just what's good, and it's like a North African term, right? Jargam. I never knew that the Kurds said that. Habibti is the feminine. That's it, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Persian is just ungendered, so if you're non-binary, stick to Azizam. That's my new thing. English has no such committee. Yeah. I guess that as also relates and pertains to our colonization and the differences in our colonization. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, someone said it's endearing. Like, do you think that this is just like an issue, or do you not care? Well, obviously, one of the beautiful things about the English language is the fact that words from other countries are borrowed all the time. That's cool. But when the words start being stripped of their cultural significance and start being used as a joke, it irks me differently. Maybe if you're used to it, but I don't know. I think in the case of Iran, maybe it is sometimes confusing when you say ooh. Because ooh means he, she, or it. It's something that I think is worth observing because people regularly bastardizing words and terms and then turning it back into the communities it was stripped them from. Is that actually an African clicking language? I didn't know. People say wallahi is a meme. It is only offensive if they use it to be as an Islamic term. Yeah, I feel like there's way more offensive things that people are up to that are way more significant than this. Sagbab, father of dog. I've never heard that. Maybe it's like that, but I guess this isn't institutions of power stripping these words of their meaning. Because this is just people doing it. Like, it's not like, Keir Starmer's just going like, wallahi, bro, I swear I gotta fund Israel. Yeah, I guess we kind of like, there are quite a few Yiddish phrases that are kind of moved into like common parlance. Like, I use the term shtick, which is a Yiddish thing, right? And quite some people use chutzpah, which is not something I use. And I don't think is chutzpah what means audacity in Yiddish? No. Like, Allahu Akbar is more of an offensive phrase in the sense of it's turned back on Muslims to, like, mock Muslims. Whereas Wallahi, Inshallah, I feel like are more used by people who just kind of find it to be a really applicable sort of word in certain contexts. Like, I don't really say it that often, but I do sometimes say it. Oh, there was that. Oh, there was that great video of, like, the old Yiddish guy who's like, oh, here it is. Duolingo Dave, this is it.
Who want to learn the Jewish business secrets of the world? Listen up! In business, you need chutzpah. It's like nerve. A guy offers you 1 million, you ask him for 10. You end up settling on 5. That's chutzpah. Send this to your...
He had another funny video. Is this him? Oh, fuck.
To learn to speak Spanish. The Spanish...
Wait, he has some goated video recently.
Listen up, Goyim. I'm gonna teach...
No, this isn't it. I'm trying to find it.
Goyim, listen up. Duolingo Dave.
I like this guy, he's funny. Okay, these videos are quite strange. Yiddish is closest to German and then Russian. I can speak Hebrew fluently and barely understand Yiddish. Yeah, it is very close to German. You occasionally hear it and you're like, wow, that sounds like very German. And yeah, it had to... David Ben-Gurion had to make a concerted effort to ban the speaking of Yiddish and also to ban the speaking of any other language so as to ensure that Israel would take up Hebrew. He manipulated elections and stuff as well, I believe. Oy vey, yeah, that's another phrase that got appropriate. Oy vey is kind of fallen out of common parlance, though. You can make a person just by speaking. Yeah, I love those videos of the people who are going out in the street and he's like, I can speak your language. And then he proceeds to say the most basic part of it. And people are like, wow, you speak my language. It is impressive to be able to remember phrases in all of those languages, though. People love it if you speak Persian to them. They think that you're, like, amazing at it. I just want to show you a quick clip of Asmongold as well. Let's have a listen to what our dear friend has to say.
Treatment through DEI and affirmative action at the expense of white and Asian Americans. Socioeconomic conditions is a cope and everyone knows it.
Yes, correct.
I mean, this is the Elon Musk style. No, they are genetically inferior and socioeconomic conditions are a cope.
Do I believe that Allah Akbar? What do you mean?
They are. It's a fact.
That's it, butt kiss. I like that one.
Of course, we're going to be watching this video as well from the Birdman.
The Birdman, right.
Treatment through DEI and affirmative action at the expense of white and...
By the way, also, isn't it that white women are the biggest beneficiaries of... white women are generally the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. But once again... I guess this kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about next, which is the shooting at the Islamic Center. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because there's a lot of discourse about what it kind of represents. And there's a lot to be said about this. So... yeah, I guess we kind of get into it. Because this kind of racism, the fact that, like, you're just openly saying that blacks and other minority groups are lower IQ is, first of all, crazy. I mean, a guy like this using the term blacks, you know that's coming straight out of some racist stank. But yeah, let's just talk about this. So, yesterday, in case you didn't hear, there was a shooting at an Islamic center in San Diego. I'll see if there's just like a quick YouTube video I can stick on that just like gives like a very short, concise explanation. Okay, this is yesterday. So obviously there is no longer an active shooter. There were active shooters and they're dead.
Responding to the scene of a reported active shooter at the Islamic Center of San Diego, that's in the Claremont Mesa area. These are live images showing the officers on the ground, guns drawn. They're escorting children out of that center. Dozens of people running out at times, trying to get more information. Our Alex Stone is on the story out of LA for us. What do we know, Alex?
Well, Kira, I've been talking to a number of police officers in San Diego who we talked to quite a bit, and they are very busy right now with their police radios that have been going off in the background. They've just said, Alex, this is the real deal, and they hung up from there. But you can see from these images right now, and we don't know a lot. They don't seem to know a lot. Those almost look like children coming out arm in arm, being brought out the way that police now do in an active shooter situation. We know it is very active right now. Governor Gavin Newsom has been advised as well, but police are responding in right now, Kira.
We know the center has a school as well.
So what I've found particularly interesting is a lot of the discourse about this has kind of revolved around Islamophobia. And it's like, yeah, definitely, these kids were Islamophobic. But there's just this growing thing in America which seems to be less touched on, which is definitely falls within the same remit, which is just these kids who, like, venerate mass shooters, sometimes not even because of sometimes not even because of the fact of who they killed, but because they killed so many people. And they've all started this trend of writing on guns. I don't know if any of you remember, about last year, there was a shooting at a Catholic church where there were kids there. And it went really, this was a big one because there was, Robin Westman was the perpetrator. And I believe they were trans, if I remember correctly. And this person had, like, they were like, yep, they were an anti-Semite because they had, like, really...
Well, lucky is because...
They had, like, really, really anti-Semitic shit scrawled over their guns. But they also had the N-word. They also had, like, the slur for Hispanic people scrawled all over their guns. And they just venerate mass killers. It really seems like a lot of this is just about killing as many people as possible. And this kind of, like, violence does speak to something else. And this is not to diminish Islamophobia. You guys all know that, like, as I've said, Islamophobia, the main difference that sets it apart from any other kind of, well, the main part that sets it apart from anti-Semitism, I was about to say any other kind of racism, but that's not actually true. But the main thing that sets Islamophobia apart is, of course, because this is, like, politically acceptable. You can win votes by being racist. You can win votes by being Islamophobic. When it comes to being anti-Semitic, that's not really a vote winner. Like, Candace Owens is popular, no doubt, but she's not politically powerful anymore. Like, when Candace Owens was anti-Semitic but supported Israel, she was much more powerful, right? Inciting anti-Semitism when it comes to Islamophobia. What is girl with a microphone saying? GWAM. What is she saying? Predictably, wait, am I at the top? Yeah, I am. Predictably, in the comments, the worst of both sides is present. People vilifying Muslims and Jews in equal measure, disgusting stereotypes and generalization. I mean, this woman is a fucking idiot. I mean, first of all, she podcasts with a guy who's literally used his platform to justify the genocide. But also, this kind of stuff, there's obviously a difference between Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is not a vote winner. it is not a vote winner. Criticizing Israel now is a vote winner, and then maybe it will resurge to the point where it becomes, a vote winner. But right now, that's just not true. This is more similar in some ways to like one expression of violence against Jewish people in the sense of like a massacre carried out, which is obviously an expression of racism and bigotry. But the two differ in the sense of the systemic nature. Like, let's be real here. Universities were punishing students for criticizing Israel. They literally weaponized anti-Semitism, pretending that they cared about it so that they could silence free speech. It's very obvious that what would constitute anti-Semitism to someone like Girl with a Microphone, to Ethan Klein, is actually treated with seriousness because the US government all goes on about it. The British government all goes on about it. Like, the day before a shooting, these two aren't linked. I'm not a fucking idiot to say this kind of stuff. But you had a guy, well, they are linked, but the two are obviously not directly linked. I'm not like some idiot who's like, yeah, this is all because of, a march in the UK. Like, there were people taking off burqas on stage. There were people chanting about how you got to get Islam out. There are people chanting for remigration. I'm sorry, Trump is actually and has been pretty anti-Semitic. But the thing is Trump is not out here like Jewish people are ruining the country. He is out here like, yep, Somalis are low IQ, all of this kind of stuff, you know? Girl with a Microphone is someone employed by our dear friend Ethan Klein. And yeah, I mean, also, like, you look at just the things that are done in the name of Islamophobia, or the things that are undergirded by Islamophobia. The war on Iran? What do you think that is? Why do you think it is that 100 schoolgirls can be killed, or school children, excuse me, in Minab? And that can just be like, well, that was just a bit of an accident. Sorry about that. The assassination of a huge amount of people in Minab is like, just, yeah. And like, I mean, Randy Fine can say, everyone remembers Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about Jewish space lasers. The vast majority of people don't give a shit that Randy Fine has talked about Gaza's streets running with blood. Like, I'm sorry, if you don't believe that there's a difference, then I don't know what to say. There's a political party in the UK discussing remigration of Muslims. Like, they're not discussing remigration of Jewish people. One day they quite possibly will, but let's be real. All of the people who are allied right now with these far-righters, many of them support Israel. Like, there's a great example of this in the UK. There's this Josh Howie guy who's always like complaining about anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, actually. But you could just read for a second what he has to say about Muslims. Like, the things he has to say about Muslims are like, how many Muslims, how do we separate Muslims from, from Islam, and we need them to condemn it, or there aren't enough, yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Just like a tweet, because it's a great example of this. Like, they've literally, so many people have bastardized what the Nazis were so they can justify Nazi-style racism. Let me see if I can find this. Like, look at this person who is apparently so concerned with anti-Semitism. Thank you, Kia. It's really great to see you make a video speaking out against the Islamist anti-Western cult who've been out chanting for the death of Jews every weekend for over 2 years. You know, the ones marching tomorrow for a state you recognized as Jews were held captive. Shut up. I'm not even reading this lying diatribe. Oh, this is actually about the people of all ethnicities standing up for a decent, fair Britain. Respectful Britain. Rightio. Like, just Jesus Christ. Oh, Struggle 4 is raiding. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Struggle 4, for the raid. Incredibly kind. 500 people raiding over on Twitch. Thank you for supporting the channel, everyone who's come over. Awesome. Shout out Struggle 4. Thank you for whoever just shouted him out. Thank you for coming over. But yeah, like, obviously, for anyone who sits there and says Islamophobia is treated differently from anti-Semitism, that's because anti-Semitism is just racism. There is one, well, I don't even want to say one kind, because it's also very clear that anti-black racism is also very much institutionalized. You know, you have Donald Trump doing, like, calling Somalis low IQ and all of this stuff. No community in the UK has ever said Jews out. Well, you know who did say Jews out? The Conservative Party. The Conservative Party used to say Jewish people out because they hated them, because they treated them exactly like they talk about immigrants now. You know, Americans wouldn't welcome in Jewish refugees. They privileged fucking Nazis. They privileged Nazis fleeing communist regimes over Jewish people during the Second World War. It's just like, I don't know, how someone, like, seriously, this person is such an expert on bigotry and racism, right, that they think someone criticizing Israel is this kind of veiled anti-Semitism, but somehow, some fucking how, they don't see, like, a Tommy Robinson march as problematic. It's just despicable. All of this is just despicable. I don't even know. Hate is taught. Hate is, of course, taught and learned. But the other major aspect of, like, hate is a product of our political system. Hate is a product of a political system that cannot answer the questions, the burning, really important questions that so many people have. The really important things that people, you know, feel in their life, like the degradation of our society, and they just blame it on other people. This person just responded, I'm racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist. Now what? Brilliant. Tommy is an angel fallen. Well, that seems to be what this guy thinks. The expert in anti-Semitism thinks. But, like, yeah, it's also, by the way, just straight up a victory of the Nazis and their ideology. The fact that it is not seen as this kind of politics that was racism, but rather something that is unique and an outburst that only happened one time and could never again happen. Like, that is really the victory of Hitler's ideology, and it's disgusting. But yeah, this whole shooting was just absolutely tragic. And someone mentioned Laura Loomer. Let's have a listen to this. No, I didn't see that. So someone has just said over on Twitch that one of the shooter's mothers was a deputy. The final push on the AIPAC-generated narrative of anti-Zio is the weakest attempt at brainwashing that Mossad could have attempted. I mean, this has been such a long-standing thing to establish that... Because, by the way, one of the things that I'm not necessarily such a big fan of is people think that because there are Jewish people on the marches, that is what stops it being anti-Semitic. No. It wouldn't matter whether there are Jewish people there or not. What defines these marches as not anti-Semitic is they are a struggle against a form of racist bigotry leading to the extermination of Palestinians. The marches like Tommy Robinson's, or the marches that are meant to be, you know, against anti-Semitism, are not that. In fact, they are the exact fucking opposite. You had to read Ayn Rand in school. Also, why does it say that I've only got 96 viewers on Twitch? I swear I had more, or have they just all gone already? Hold on, let's have a look. Sorry, I just had someone scream. Yeah, it's not. You've not all gone. Fucking hell. I don't know what's causing this issue. I don't know what's causing it. But let's have a listen. The mosque that was supposedly shot up today Just remember the people who attend this mosque want us all to be killed. We will be told that they are such amazing people. I'm not advocating for violence. I condemn violence. I am showing you how evil this mosque is and always will be. It should have been raided by ICE. Fucking hell. Because they're highlighting this. Lalia Alahi, wife of Imam Taha Hussein of the Islamic Center, posted this horrific image of... I shouldn't have showed that, but what can you even do? And of course, well, they don't even want all Muslims to be killed. They want all Muslims to be locked up and put in camps and raided by ICE and the FBI for simply existing and living their lives. It's just genuinely insane. I don't have... The record player doesn't even work. It's just in the background. I need to get rid of it. But yeah, like, when you look at what these shooters were, it's so clear that kind of like the current ideological moment of really incoherent, bigoted, racist politics also plays a major role in this. So they're just talking about how one of the shooters left a note for their parents. But also that they just had bigoted hate speech scrawled over their guns. And by the way, I didn't even know this. Mosque shooter, Quebec City. In 2017, there was a Quebec City mosque shooting. And the guy was just checking Ben Shapiro's account over and over again. Yeah, in the month before the shooting, Bissonnette was on leave from his job at Hema, Quebec with an anxiety disorder following an altercation. In this month, he obsessively visited the Twitter accounts of several pro-Israel right-wing media personalities, including Ben Shapiro, Tommy Robinson, Laura Ingraham. I thought it was Laura Ingraham. Oh, it is Laura Ingraham. It's not Laura Ingraham, is it? It's not British. Alex Jones, Mike Cernovich, Gavin McInnes. He checked in on Ben Shapiro 93 times in the month leading up to the shooting. Like, Tommy Robinson yesterday was talking about how everyone needs to be ready to fight. They're always talking about how every immigrant is a fighting-aged male, and that you have to, be ready to stand up against them. It's just, I don't know. All of this to me is just some of the most repugnant stuff. And yeah, I forgot Brennan Tarrant said that. Like, this is the march in the UK. This is just another...
Here because I want to show that there are young women out here that think the same way that I do, that want to...
This young girl is dressed up as Amelia, which is... by the way, if any of you aren't British, there's no way... And even if you are British, you wouldn't know who this is. So Amelia is a British schoolgirl that was from like this de-radicalization advert that has been adopted by the far right as like some epic girl. She's meant to be a schoolgirl, by the way. Very pedo-coded.
Protect women's rights and safety for women, basically. And this is my dad. That's your dad? That's my dad, my biggest inspiration.
Like, what is the insinuation here? That you're dressed up as a crusader? That what, you want to go and fight Islam? It's happening right now, and I don't see you signed up. You're just some guy wearing a fucking crusader costume. Why don't you go get blown up by a drone?
How do you feel about Keir Starmer? I don't like him. I'm not a fan, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By the way, this fucking LARP is so fucking cringe. Just your dad... Imagine, Dad's taking the divorce well. Dad's dressed up. Dad's taking the divorce well. He's dressed up as a crusader, and he's making his kid dress up as fucking Amelia.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of recognition.
Dressed as Amelia. Wait, I want to see if there's... Hold on, just for a second, want to see if there's any more of this.
I'm here because I want to show that there are... I'm here because...
Let me have a look.
It's us. My kids.
Hold on, let me find this. Hold on.
I'm here because I want to women's dad. That's your dad? That's my dad, my biggest inspiration.
How do you feel about Keir Starmer? I've just made it to the...
I don't know. Okay, that's all we get out of this. But I don't know. These people are just on this... Like, you're told that pro-Palestine marches are hateful, that we need to deal with them because they're a threat to Jewish people. But you've literally got people dressed up as crusaders. By the way, crusaders went and killed Jews. Crusader killings of Jews. Like, the Crusaders did pogroms against Jewish people, like, on the way. They just went and did pogroms. But, of course, these people don't give a shit about that. But, yeah, I mean, we'll just listen to a bit more about the shooting.
Well, pre-K through third grade, which makes sense as we're watching police there leading the children across the street to a safe area. We can see one of the women that was inside the mosque there being led by San Diego police officers. Channel 10, the ABC station in San Diego, is reporting that there is at least one person reported dead in this incident. Alex, I don't know what you're hearing and what you've been able to get from your side of things, but apparently this is still ongoing, and there are no reports yet, according to our ABC station in San Diego, that they have apprehended anybody at this time.
No, we don't know if they've apprehended anybody, and it's sometimes hard to know in San Diego, like a lot of police departments around the country.
So, I mean, I guess that this is totally out of date. So if you don't know, no one was apprehended because the shooters took their own lives. So let's actually watch something post the event rather than this. This is obviously outdated. So here's Democracy Now! Talking to a lady who knows the people involved.
The guard has just been named who was killed by the gunmen. The gunmen themselves apparently dead of self-inflicted wounds. Can you talk about what you heard yesterday and your reaction as it was unfolding? You're a friend of the imam.
I immediately saw a tweet on X that said that there was a shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego, and I immediately texted Imam Taha Hussein, who's an old friend of mine, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he immediately called me back and said that we are in a lockdown right now. There's been an active shooting. At that moment, he had not known about all the fatalities, but they did know about Brother Amin Abdullah, who was the armed security guard of the mosque and a father of 8 and a wonderful, incredible human being that I also had the honor and privilege of meeting myself. There are also 2 other adult males that were also killed in the shooting. One of them is Brother Mansour, also known as Abul Izz. He is an elder, a caretaker of the mosque, also was running the Islamic bookstore at the mosque, and just a beloved kind of uncle in the community. Another one is Brother Nadid. Brother Nadid is a neighbor of the mosque, a congregant, someone who is heavily involved.
Like, yeah, I feel like people would get arrested for dressing up as Saladin if you did it on the street. I didn't know that Saladin was welcomed by most Jewish people because of how many people have been targeted there. But you just, like, look at this kind of stuff going on in the UK. I'm sure you guys have seen this by now. We covered it yesterday. But some guy putting bacon on his shoulders to own Muslims. By the way, this guy has also said that he wants to inflict as much harm on Islam as possible.
In the mosque itself, it's just a very devastating experience. There was also about 200 kids in a pre-K to third grade Islamic school that is a part of the Islamic Center of San Diego who are also on lockdown, hiding under, hiding under desks and closets. And if it wasn't for Brother Amin Abdullah and these brothers that came out to put their bodies on the line, we could have had many more fatalities, and many of them could have been small children in this country. So even though the children are safe, thank God, they are forever going to live with this trauma of knowing that their mosque was attacked because they were Muslims.
Just the fact that, like, you know, you live in America where this kind of stuff is institutionalized, where it has been for an incredibly long time, where we're told over and over again that the UK, that everywhere Jewish people are under threat, that everywhere they're the, like, people suffering as a result. of what's going on in the world. Whilst you literally have Trump just spewing the most Islamophobic bullshit. But this is the security guard, Amin Abdullah. He is the security guard who gave his life to protect the children and stop the terror attack at the Islamic Center of San Diego. This man died a hero, but should still be alive, and would be if there wasn't a rising hatred against Muslims. RIP. Like, yeah, you have an elected American official talking about the fact that he would literally choose dogs over Jewish people. Over Muslims. Like, this is an elected American official. Are you really, really surprised at all that there is like this rising level of just insane bigotry? I mean, you can see it on any social media platform, like the things that people feel comfortable saying. And no doubt that plays a role in the permission structure of all of this. But now you just have the US government supporting, the US government just spewing it. Trump's calling, every country, like Somalia, shithole country, saying that they're low IQ pirate scammers, that's just the way they are. And then you end up with, insane people. So this was a post from TrueAnon subreddit, which I by the way, I do believe this is true. There are photos of how do you spell it? Sonnenrad. Because apparently this is apparently the Sonnenrad that was on the shooter. The shooter had this, and he was wearing it when he carried out the attack. Did some digging and found a guy online who personally knew one of the guys involved in the shooting. According to him, they weren't driven by any deep ideological hatred towards Muslims specifically. It was more baseless, nihilistic violence inspired by neo-Nazi aesthetics and wanting to carry out an attack for the infamy of it. Look, maybe there's some truth to that, but I don't think you can say it's not a deep ideological hatred. It is clearly a permissive hatred against Muslims, and these people do just carrying out shootings. The Sonnenrad is a specific neo-Nazi symbol. It's called the Black Sun symbol. It originates, the first depiction being the Wewelsberg mosaic in 1933. Himmler, the head of the SS, acquired Wewelsberg, a castle near Paderborn in Germany, in the region of Westphalia. So this is where apparently it is, in Wewelsberg. This is where it comes from, but the shooter had it. But these people online are just engaged in some really horrifying stuff. It goes on places like Roblox, Discord, and there are more people getting involved in this shit. But yeah, hold on. He implied that they were heavily influenced by extremist communities on Discord/Telegram, which lines up a lot with what we know about the whole order of... So 09A is Order of Nine Angels, and 764 are I don't even know what to call them. They're just a terror organization. A lot of it is just killing for the sake of killing. And the thing is I don't at all want to diminish Islamophobia, because of course Islamophobia is a rising acceptable thing. And even when I say it's a part, that's actually wrong to say. It's just hatred of migrants, and one of the best way to disguise it is through cultural stuff. One of the ways that racism has been made acceptable again and slowly ebbed back to just being accepted of saying whatever you want is specifically to do with making it cultural and being I'm not racist, but what I do feel is that some cultures can't integrate and they're destroying our country from the inside out. It's what the Nazis said about Jewish people, although the Nazis did have a specific oh, sorry, the Order of the Nine Angles. Excuse me, it's not angels. Sorry, excuse me. That's me misreading it. It shows you how moronic I am. Anyway, it's like a kind of Satanism. It's a neo-Nazi sort of satanic cult. not something that I'm an expert of. But it's the broader extremist network of 764 kind of spawned into it. This actually, by the way, has a lot to do with Roblox. I'm not even joking. They make huge amounts of money through sextortion. So, like, they get young kids involved in, like, sending them... They basically create child sexual assault material, and then they manipulate kids. By the way, sometimes they manipulate kids into, like, harming their younger siblings and recording it, harming other people, harming pets, harming animals. It's really, really, like, sick shit that you can't even believe is going on. And they make huge amounts of money out of doing this. As fuck, these online orgs are just grooming kids to do mass shootings and the media doesn't talk about it. Plus, with the permission structure for Islamophobia, this shit is bound to happen. Exactly. This stuff happening online is, like, really, really fucked up. By the way, there are loads of videos about these, like, Roblox worst predator. There are loads of videos about this. I started watching some of them because there was discussion. I remember looking at an event where this happened recently of, like, about, like, these Roblox Nazi cults. By the way, there are also Roblox ISIS cults where you're not really part of ISIS, but they kind of get you to do things that are, like, part of ISIS. It's actually kind of insane. Like, I highly doubt that, like, these people are involved in the Islamic State, but maybe there is some, like, random guy in Iraq, like, hell yeah, I fucking love playing a bit of this. Would you ever think about switching to Linux? Someone said you have to learn it, but yes, I think at this point, probably yes. It's like the same thing if I probably just, I don't know, I don't think I'll get another iPhone, really. I'll just keep using this one until the end of its potential lifetime. But listen to this as well. Apparently one of the shooters was, and this is, by the way, a true and on post, so who knows if it's 100% accurate. I think the Order of Nine Angles was started by... does have some Fed involvement. So, look at this. So, there's someone here called Sutter. Joshua Caleb Sutter, in particular, the rise of the Order of the Nine Angles and its connection to 764. So these people are involved with something as well called the Atomwaffen SS Division. And apparently Caleb Cole Sutter was revealed that since 2003 he had been paid 140 grand but as a confidential FBI informant. It's called Terragram as well, I think is like a big part of this. This is all quite like complex stuff, and this is stuff that you can't even imagine going on the internet. Like, seriously, this stuff is terrifying, like genuinely terrifying. But anyway, apparently one of them was dating an Arab girl with a Muslim background who was reposting these insane glorifications of violence edits on TikTok, like the Islamic State fan edits. The shooters also shared genuinely disturbing content in their reposts. Lots of violent memes, anime waifu suit, extremist aesthetics, and deification of mass shooters. I even saw a Brenton Tarrant edit, Christchurch shooter, from yesterday with around 30k likes. I mean, none of this surprises me, by the way. You can just venerate mass shooters. Let's have a look.
Things you didn't know about the crime.
Like, yeah, look at an unremoved comment on this TikTok video. This doesn't get you banned. This person has an account calling Brenton Tarrant a hero. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if you could find some of the most insane shit imaginable here. Just through going through this guy's reposts. It's all just incoherent nonsense as well. Loads of these people... By the way, there was one that happened in the UK. I think it was here. Here we go. Nicholas Prosper. So, this guy called Nicholas Prosper carried out a shooting. He only managed to kill his own family, which is obviously tragic. He killed his younger brother and sister, his mother, in Luton. And there's no real reason. There's no real reason. He wanted to just do a school shooting. That's it. He just wanted to do a school shooting. It wasn't like he had some sort of thing about bullying. He just wanted to do a school shooting and was obsessed with achieving some kind of major, like the highest kill count ever. That's it. And he was involved in like glorifying mass shootings. He loved the Virginia Tech shooter, Adam Lanza. He wanted to massacre people on Friday the 13th. And it's like, it's lucky he handed himself into the police. That's the only reason he was caught. And yeah, I mean, the TikTok platform doesn't work. TikTok has a massive problem with this. Wait. Like, okay, this is a guy on TikTok. Kahana's the best person to search because Kahana's never dealt with.
You know, after October 7th, there's this new trend that's going on with people that support Rabbi Kahana now, which is a great thing. I'm glad people are actually realizing that he was right. But words are cheap. And
by the way, this is an account. If you don't know who Rabbi Meir Kahana is, you can read his words. He said that he was going to slit the throat of every Palestinian who didn't leave.
These people, they don't actually change anything about their lifestyle. They don't go to the shooting range to know how to shoot a gun or protect their family and communities. They don't go to the gym. They treat Shabbat as a social venue just to go and drink and smoke.
This guy's account is still up. I love burgers! Hey, Langium, thanks for supporting through Twitch Prime. Incredibly kind. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Incredibly kind. But, like, yeah, hold on. There's probably Baruch Goldstein. Yep, there are. Look at this. Look at this. This is just like... this guy, if you don't know who this is a guy who murdered 28 Palestinians. He was also, by the way, almost elected to the Israeli Knesset. This is just a fan edit of him on a social media platform. A fan edit that has been up for nearly 4 years. Look at this! Like, just fan edits of mass killers. And if you posted a video about this, talking about the problems with this, your video would be censored. Your video would be censored, but they would leave a video up glorifying this from 2022. Like, I'm sure if you can find, I'm sure there's a way to find Brenton Tarrant edits. Brenton Tarrant is, it's apparently censored his name, but I don't fucking know. I reckon you could just find them. I wonder if there's like pro Tarrant videos on YouTube. So on his I don't think you'd actually find them I don't think you'd actually find videos on YouTube. I feel like YouTube might be slightly better at removing them. Although it's not very good at removing Kahana videos. There are plenty of videos saying Kahana was awesome. Like plenty of videos saying that. Hey, thank you for the 100 bits. Incredibly kind. Thanks for supporting the channel as always. I don't know. Just all of this stuff of like seeing this and like and being just able to post all of this on social video. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. There's literally a YouTube video called Rabbi Meir Kahana's top 7 moments. Kahana speaks the bottom line. There's an account on here called JDL Youth. Like, the truth is on the internet, you can engage in just radicalization if you want to, through mainstream platforms. You can watch videos glorifying any fucking mass killer. You can find them. I'm sure I'm just not on the correct bit. I'm sure if I kind of fiddled around enough, I could quite quickly find people find people who just love mass killings. It wouldn't be hard. In fact, we already did. We found people who like Baruch Goldstein. It wouldn't be hard to go further and find Brenton Tarrant edits. But yeah, so this person is saying this stuff is way more widespread online than most people realize. These communities aren't even motivated by coherent politics. It's an ideology of irony poisoned accelerationism mixed with obsession over violence and who can get the most internet points. Impenetrable spectacle. Pretty terrifying to see how popular it is become amongst the youth. I mean, so I think there are 2 parts to this. First of all, I wouldn't dismiss this as incoherent ideology entirely. There are really, really, really racist people on the internet. There just are. And racism plays a key role in this. The way that racism operates on the internet, the way in which racism is just acceptable and the way it's been made acceptable has no doubt played a role in this. But, like, as well, trying to understand the coherence of this is fucking impossible. Like, I've watched videos about this. And they're, like, hours long. 764. The internet's most depraved cult. And these kids are just on the internet. It's particularly easier on Tumblr, is it? In this environment, people are just predisposed to radicalize in the wrong direction. I mean, in many ways, yes, I do think, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. To what extent does the Oracle takeover of TikTok US operations affect their FYP? Do you know of instances? And I'm worried that the new algorithm could affect the rest of the world. I'm not American, so I can't really tell you. But I didn't know Tumblr was really bad for it. But this kind of stuff of, like, the fact that you can just be a kid on playing Roblox, and just like ending up here, I don't know. It's just. I'm also gonna have to study Leeds. I think we should have a duel to sort out the Queen of Leeds. Meet me outside. I didn't study at Leeds University, but I'm glad to hear you did. I've been there once for a night out. It was very fun. People love making... I wish I could see this edits of mass shooters on Tumblr. I think Roblox is terrifying. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty troubling. It is pretty fucking troubling. These people are just like targeting moronic kids who end up getting themselves in horrifying situations. And no doubt once you experience it, then it gets worse. But there was also, by the way, aside from this, we had some other great content yesterday. Let's have a listen to this one on Fox.
I have a similar situation right here. I'm trying to get some information about it. According to what I see here, it is a Sunni mosque location. Why do I bring that up? Because Iran is a Shia nation. And some of the stuff that we've seen lately relative to Iran, like, for instance, Hezbollah-linked attacks that were planned to go off here in America, that has a Shia footprint. And if you do counter, I did 15, 16 years of counterterrorism, you think in those terms. What do I have here? Where?
It seems that this guy is actually speaking the truth here. And the reason that I say that this is a the reason that I say that this is like work correct is because working in counterterrorism, it seems probably all you know how to do is just blame Muslims for everything. But yeah, apparently as well, they had SS Thunderbolts on a thing. By the way, on TikTok, you can have SS Thunderbolts in your name, and TikTok doesn't see a problem with this. I've spoken about this to no end. If you report people who are just Nazis on TikTok, you get in no trouble. Hello, Outer Signal. Good to see you. But it is just, I don't know. It is just, all of this is just like insane. Just insane. They're claiming that it's Sunnis and Shias. I mean, to be honest, this isn't even like a Fox News problem. So many people for the longest time have literally been like, have literally just been like talking about a Sunni Shia Cold War because they have no understanding of the Middle East. Like they literally think that it's just because some are Sunnis and some are Shias. Sectarianism is a thing in the Middle East, but it's largely used by governments for the reason of trying to oppress certain currents within their country. Like, and look at this. This is just, yeah, I don't know. A jerry can. Yeah, it's a jerry can with an SS Thunderbolt. What did I call it? Did I say a petrol can? I don't think SS means Schön and Sonntag. That's a joke, right? But they also just had a rabbi on television to talk about this.
These two kids. How did these kids, like a 17-year-old kid, what was going on? I will put money on it that there's some mental illness going on over there. I don't really think that these two kids, just regular American kids, are going to say, hey, let's go shoot up a mosque. Yeah. My question is on...
You live in an increasingly incoherent political country. You live in an increasingly racist country that has always been racist, but it is now resurging in the most insane ways imaginable. And I think what it means it was an Islamic center is that it's bigger than that it's not just a mosque, that it also had other things attached to it. Where's the imam of the mosque to talk about it? Well, I guess we needed to hear from this guy to just about how they're mentally ill. And no doubt there is some kind of mentally illness. We do live in an incoherent world where people look for simple answers. But also there is major radicalization online. But there is also this kind of major decision to just say over and over again that anti-Semitism is the only rising bigotry. It is separated from all other kinds of bigotry. All other kinds of bigotry are in fact encouraged. They are encouraged categorically. It is okay to go and kill huge amounts of people in the Middle East. It is okay to say whatever you want about how certain groups of people won't integrate. It's also okay to say whatever you want about how you need a war against undocumented migrants who have ruined your country. And once again, as I said, people don't appreciate anything what the Nazis said because it's like when, you know, when they'll find like I know sometimes they plant it, but on the times where they seriously find a like a copy of Mein Kampf in like a Palestinian library, and they're like, why would they have that there? They don't want you to read what he said, because what you'd start to see is many people talk like him. That the way Hitler spoke, there were specificities in terms of his racism and his racial worldview. But where the similarities lie are with American racism. Hitler loved America. Hitler was enthralled by someone's Hitler May American books. Hitler particularly loved this guy, Karl May, as a child. He really, really loved Karl May. These were books like written by a German in America who wrote about like cowboy novels. I don't know shit about Karl May. I wonder if it says it on Wikipedia how much Hitler liked him. Oh yeah, Hitler did like him. There is quite a bit of a how much he liked him. Well, you know what? You say Hitler got the idea of segregation from America. The Nuremberg laws were inspired by the American laws, but something people forget is the American one-drop policy went further than the Nazis did in the Nuremberg laws. America does suck, but I think the problem is every country sucks pretty much. Like, I didn't know this about Spain, but did you know Spain has beef with Mexico? Because whilst they're really supportive of Palestine, or much more supportive than the majority of European nations, did you know Spain, like, has over and over again refused to recognize what was done to indigenous people in Mexico? Adolf Hitler loved and was inspired by the indigenous genocide. He did indeed. Thank you for the $2. And yes, 100% he did. He called America a race state worthy of admiration. It's also really funny that Adolf Hitler's name should have been Schicklgruber. Yeah, his real name should have been Schicklgruber. That should have been Adolf Hitler's real name. I know. And that's the thing. Spain is like pretty good on Palestine, recognizing a settler colonial genocide happening right now. But when it comes to having any thoughts or feelings about their own settler colonial project, it's just kind of like, nah, not interested. But, like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The resurgent, I guess that's kind of the thing. Maybe the hard truth is that as people have had more access to the internet to kind of find and coalesce around groups of really other extreme people where they kind of feel more permitted to say... where they feel kind of more permitted to say whatever, that is what has accelerated this. But they have found this kind of stuff. This stuff has always existed in American politics. Sorry, I should have... Did Scheinbaum deny Spain's apology? She denied that there was a diplomatic crisis, but this has been a long time thing than the former colonies they held in Central South America. Racist Spaniards look at you funny if you speak Spanish without a Spanish accent. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I guess we just shouldn't be venerating any of these politicians. Like, Spain can be based, but it's also very cringe at times. It's the dichotomy. Stuff is more about controlling people's access to truth. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. Nah, it's not even being sick. My nose just has issues. I keep saying I'm gonna go to the doctors, but I don't. And I don't think the internet ID fixes the problem. I really don't, because I don't think we're actually discussing any of this. By the way, Isaac keeps sending me videos. As I understand, South Africa still sends coal to Israel because brother-in-law South Africa. I didn't know that. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, all of this is just repugnant. And there's conversations to be had about all of it. Definitely about rising Islamophobia. But the institutional Islamophobia is obviously so much worse than this one singular incident. But like, yeah, this is an expression of some really, really heinous stuff. Just some really heinous stuff bubbling away in American and British politics. You know what? For a brief reprieve, we're going to check out a video that I really wanted to watch, and then we'll do a bit about Trump attacking Iran.
Movie star
We're gonna watch this video.
or play that disregards established.
I don't know if you've seen it. It's by Youssef Abdul Hussein. So I'm gonna put a link in because it's not from a major channel. Well, I would anyway. But just have a look at this. It's really good. Check it out in your own time if you want. But I'm gonna play it.
Movie starts and the first thing we see is a gibberish language that's kind of like.
I mean, this kind of looks like it kind of looks like Arabic, sort of mixed with Hindi.
Like Arabic, but not really. We see a clown shoot water onto what looks like a dictator's face, and he immediately shoots him. This is an allegory to the short temper of dictators. They kill whoever, whenever they want, even over a stupid trick like this. Off with his head. We meet our main character, General Ala ad-Din. His name is a play on the Arabic name Ala ad-Din, or Aladdin. He's being played by Sacha Baron Cohen. Cohen has built a career on doing minstrel shows. He picks a culture, dons a costume, and performs the most toxic stereotypes known about that culture to satisfy the audience's worst biases. He calls it comedy, but it's really textbook propaganda. His most common targets are Muslims. Ali G parodies British Muslim early 2000s chav culture. Borat is
There are some pretty funny Ali G sketches. There's a really good one that I can't remember off the top of my head, but fuck Sacha Baron Cohen.
Muslim coded to weaponize fear of the dirty foreigner. Now we have Aladdin. By making him an Arab dictator, the movie ensures the audience knows the punchline before the first frame even flickers. Make no mistake, he isn't here to challenge your perspective or craft a grand satire that reveals hidden prejudices. He's here to indulge them, to perform them. He uses the satire label as a get out of jail free card to broadcast the very bigotry he claims to mock. That's his true desire, to turn systematic racism into a playground for profit. You may say I'm stretching, but let's look into Cohen's background. Maybe it'll give us insight into his intentions and message. Cohen grew up in
one of my biggest TikTok videos was talking about how like Sacha Baron Cohen was actively working to get TikTok banned. Isn't it so comical that this guy is just that this guy sits here and that this guy talks here and wants Palestine related content banned, but makes videos like this. Not just Mexico, but most of LATAM, Spain refuses. What, to recognize the oh, you mean most of Latin America to recognize? Yeah. I think Mexico is the specific one that's caused issues, though, in my understanding. Currently, at least. Or diplomatic issues for the longest time.
West London and was active throughout high school in Habonim Dror, a Zionist youth group. He was very Zionist, very involved in Habo, said the fellow Israel seminar participant who has known him since they were babies in the same mother and baby group.
Just kind of crazy that you're just like in this organization, you're like kind of parodying Arabs as crazy racists when you live in when you're from the UK and you're in an organization that's literally premised on the racial superiority of like cultural superiority, racial superiority of Jewish people over people who actually lived in the Middle East, that you have a right to take their land, and you're like parodying the kind of extremism. By the way, I did say thank you for the $2, I think, Nox, but if not, thank you so much.
Upon graduation, he spent a year working and studying on a kibbutz in northern Israel and has since returned for several visits. He's made...
Like, also, by the way, it's really funny parodying an Arab dictator, because Moshe Dayan was no dictator. But obviously, I mean, well, I think we spoke about Moshe Dayan a few days ago. Moshe Dayan was a key early Israeli political figure who lost his eyes. He was also heavily involved in the Special Night Squads. By the way, this guy is another British figure who played an incredibly... How did he die? Killing all passengers... Oh, he crashed a plane. Fuck him. This guy played a key role in advocating for Zionist militias to be attached and taught by the British. And anyway, so Ord Wingate trained Moshe Dayan, but there's this alleged story that Moshe Dayan in the West Bank told one of his soldiers, go and blow up a mosque because I want the minaret to put on my desk. I'll see if this is actually mentioned here. But he was just like a crazy kind of crazy, violent. He may have not been a dictator, but he was a crazy, violent racist. I'll see if I can find the story. Moshe Dayan minaret. No, I can't find this story, but I've heard it. Hey, Nox, thanks for the, thank you so much. It started with AMLO demanding an apology. AMLO. Interesting. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, he lost his eye. He looks like a particularly evil individual. Where did he see them last? Yeah, I don't know. He only lost one of them, so surely he could have used the other one to look, but I don't know. I don't know where he left it.
Speeches for the Anti-Defamation League, a well-known pro-Israel Zionist organization. This is the background of the person who's putting on brown face to play an Arab dictator in a fictionalized movie. Let's see how this plays out. The narrator says,
Did he actually darken his skin, by the way?
Aladdin is protected by 30 virgin guards. This already smells like Orientalism. By emphasizing the women are virgins, it pushes the idea that a woman's only value is her virginity. It's an old, tired trope and frames a whole culture as obsessed with purity. There's a
Do you know what's kind of really interesting about Orientalism, right? So, Orientalism is really not a static concept. Orientalism, so if you don't know what Orientalism is, I'm an Orientalist technically, so what Orientalism pertains and relates to is the study of the Orient, but how Orientalism changed, so I don't know if many of you knew this, in the Victorian times when Orientalism was like at its height, at its peak, they actually used to view Arabs and the Middle East not as prudish, but actually as really sexually free and way too sexually free. There are loads of people who used to go over and take nude photos of Arab women because they give them some money and then they'd send it back and they're like, look what the Arab women will do for anything. And obviously, you know, there was probably some other dodgy things going on in that scenario. But like now we see Arabs as all like, oh, look how prudish they are. They're all obsessed with virgins. And yes, Orient means East. And we're the Occident. They're the Orient.
Interview with Larry King, and he asks Aladdin if he has nuclear weapons. Here we go. Hollywood loves this story. Arabs crave nukes. For decades, movies have painted Arabs and Muslims as irrational and violent, and the plot is always the same. They're obsessed with destroying the West and Israel. But look at the facts. It's America and Israel who have nuclear weapons.
The concept of harems. Yes, people were obsessed with harems. By the way, harems are actually quite interesting and they're worth reading about. They really ended up. So one of the things is normally, like Islamic, or, well, not Islamic, Middle Eastern rulers at this time would kind of have a harem. Some people like Nader Shah. So Nader Shah is very famous, is a really interesting figure. He actually tried to create a Persian navy in the... he was like a real famous conqueror, very successful conqueror. He tried to create a Persian navy. But he ended up being killed by one of his sons because they all basically, if any son that they had with one of the wives in a harem showed any promise, they'd normally end up killing them because they started to worry that that son was going to basically do the same to them. And Nader Shah is particularly famous because I think he had one of his kids' eyes plucked out. But yeah, no, harems are actually a really interesting topic. So there is this whole Orientalist thing, but yeah. Hollywood loves Russians and... Hollywood loves Russians and Arabs as villains. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Russians have kind of fallen off a bit. I think it means more now, I think it's more now focused on Arabs, Iranians, but I guess Russians still factor into that. But there was obviously a time when the USSR was at the peak of its power that, like, everyone was a bad, evil Russian. And they do love Germans, yeah. Yo, how long have you been streaming for? Do you mean in general? Because I've been streaming for nearly a fucking year now. Well, over a year. I mean, we got some year-long Labubu owners over on YouTube. So shout out to all my Labubu owners, the golden Labubus. But how long have I been streaming for? Like 2.5 hours, maybe? But yeah, obviously the stuff this guy is saying is true. Like, we never really talk about. He's actually got a really good joke. I'm gonna let this play for a second.
Estimated America has over 5,000 and Israel has over 90 nuclear warheads. Arab countries have 0, but it's always the same message that Arabs can't be trusted with power. It's a double standard, plain and simple. Aladdin plays dumb.
Do you have nuclear weapons?
What was the question?
Hilariously, this is exactly how Israel handles questions about its nukes.
How many nuclear weapons does Israel have? Because experts say it's anywhere between 80 and 400.
So what? So what? Yeah, so what?
Now look at the Arab side. The United States invaded Iraq claiming Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. They found none. Look at Muammar Gaddafi. In 2003, he voluntarily gave up Libya's nuclear program. Yet, Hollywood still paints Arabs as the aggressor.
One of you kind of mentioned how this was manufacturing consent for the invasion of Libya, and obviously this happened after the invasion of Libya. The film came out, but it definitely was, you know, in part like portraying Gaddafi as this mad dictator, because what they did to Gaddafi and what like eventually happened in Libya was obviously so much worse than what Gaddafi was doing. Gaddafi was doing bad things, but also simultaneously post Gaddafi has been like hell on earth for so many people in Libya and across Africa, by the way, all the Toyota wars that spawned out of it.
I mentioned Gaddafi because he's the main real-life blueprint for General Aladdin. We get a wide view of the palace and, yeah, there's some problems here. The front part of the palace is copied from the Plaza de España in Spain. The domes are exaggerated and resemble onion domes, but...
By the way, this is the kind of thing that Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is still doing. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. But the funny thing is a dictator like Sisi would never be parodies, because Sisi's a bland dictator who does what we want. Gaddafi is only this object of hatred because he didn't dance the correct tune. Like, that's what it ultimately boils down to.
Not exactly. They look like Hershey Kisses to me, and it fits because this is a comedy movie. General Aladdin is standing on a balcony talking to his people, saying he's 2 days away from enriching weapons-grade uranium. He says the uranium will only be used for peaceful purposes, but starts laughing as he says it. Then he says it'll certainly never be used to attack then says, oh boy. He means Israel. This is the narrative we're fed in the media all the time, that if Arab countries get a hold of nuclear weapons, they're gonna bomb Israel. A lie told so often by Israel and the West that people now think it's true. This is called propaganda brainwashing. We head to a secret nuclear facility.
Gaddafi was the de facto leader. I mean, well, we were talking with Kovi. Kovi, if you haven't listened to the podcast episode, she knows a lot more about this than I do. But she's mentioned some stuff like how how Gaddafi funded like Tuareg separatists in Mali. He also did things that were like, you know, eventually ended up spawning the, who ended up in part spawning the Janjaweed. Like, he played a role in that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure he was like this perfect leader of Africa as we sometimes sold him as, but I don't know. But I think, like, once again, like, obviously the invasion of Libya was unjustified and it was fucking catastrophic. It was based on nonsense as well. Utter nonsense.
That's just crude oil storage tanks. I'm surprised Cohen didn't ask the IDF what a secret nuclear facility looks like so he can get it looking at least slightly accurate. We see actor Ben Kingsley. He's a half Indian, half British actor who changed his name from Krishna Pandit Banji to Ben Kingsley because his name was being racially profiled and no one would hire him as an actor. He's most famous for playing Gandhi in the 1982 movie of the same name. He goes up to General Aladdin and
I hadn't seen that film.
he kisses his underarms. Okay, that's silly and I think it's funny.
This guy reacting kind of feels a little bit like how Ben Shapiro reacts to that video of where he's like talking about the coffee spelt backwards is EFOC.
Is shown to General Aladdin and he's upset because it's small. He says all of his friends have nuclear weapons, even Ahmadinejad, and he means Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, former president of Iran. Iran has never had a nuclear weapon.
We are watching a video about Sacha Baron Cohen's film, The Dictator, as anti-Arab propaganda.
Sacha Baron Cohen is just parodying Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. For over 35 years,
By the way, one of my favorite features about like how they talk about, you know, these dictators being like kind of mental. Obviously, like, the Israelis have been pretty fucking mental throughout history in the things they've said, the ways they've acted. The response of Menachem Begin to hearing about the Sabra and Shatila killings was to go, Goyim kill other Goyim, and then blame the Jews after he had, like, his military had orchestrated a massacre. And this guy also regularly claims that, he also makes up stuff about the Nazi extermination of Jewish people to blame Palestinians.
He's been lying about Iran being quote-unquote weeks away from having nuclear bombs. And the United States has bombed Iran several times over the decades, all in the name of...
God, how is Israel is the worst of the worst held on Twitch? Ugh. Operation Eagle Claw. Obviously, some of these are like, I guess Eagle Claw's a bit different, but yeah, these are kind of crazy. The ones during there. It's also crazy that it was so long without strikes. What, that's 32 years since the last offensive, like the actual direct offensive.
Stopping them from what they claim is getting a nuclear weapon. The US has recently started a war against Iran to destroy its nuclear facilities and missile capabilities.
Also, just another note, a film like this just doesn't really hit anymore because America is ruled by like a deranged geriatric who's absolutely insane and also seemingly demands like unwavering loyalty and really bizarre unwavering loyalty.
This lie is repeated so often in the media and in movies, like this one, where people start believing it, go to war with a country over it, and the result is a school with over 100 children gets obliterated over lies.
Do you know how much it will cost Americans in terms of their increased cost in gas and food over the next year because of the Iran war?
I would simply ask you what the cost is of an Iranian nuclear bomb.
I'm super happy that people are not believing this propaganda as much anymore, and the majority of Americans are against attacking Iran. General Al-Din gets into a discussion about bombs with the scientist Nadal, and it's all to make General Al-Din look as stupid as possible because he thinks bombs are like cartoons. This is trying to say, look, Arab dictators are dumb. He repeats wanting the missile to hit Israel. He's talking to Uncle Tamer.
Okay, maybe the dictator is based.
Ben Kingsley's character's name, and says,
Real Housewives of Shahan Ma'afa'al.
This is...
I sent a clip where Cohen showed where he mocks the IOF. I did not know he was actually a Zionist. I don't know. Wait, I don't know if I can watch it because if it's from his show. I don't know if I can watch it.
My name?
I don't know if I can watch that. That's from an actual show. Yeah, you know, by the way, I've actually, so someone I know is related to, or they vaguely, well, they're not related, but they're like family friends with the guy from the famous Hamas clip.
This is just gibberish that's supposed to sound Arabic as a way to mock the language. But I'm not gonna lie, I laughed a little at it. General Al-Din walks out of his car and an assassination attempt is made by a person. But it turns out that was a decoy and not the real Al-Din. Uncle Tamer is the one behind the assassination attempt, and oh my goodness, whoa. The contrast between Ben Kingsley's real skin color and his heavily tanned face is jarring.
By the way, just to say, why... When you think about it, blackface is problematic, especially in the sense of, like, when you darken skin to specifically indicate that someone is bad, to create the connotation between darker skin and, like, wickedness or how evil you are. Like, I really think that that's, like, something that's really quite important to talk about. You were laid off by YouTube. Jesus, you work for YouTube. Can you boost my video, please?
Shows us how much they tanned both Ben Kingsley and Sacha Baron Cohen.
I couldn't tell whether they tanned him. It is pretty crazy because that is like the most problematic, like really why blackface is problematic. It is because of that. Obviously, it's kind of offensive when you're using it to just, like, mock people. But where it lies at its most offensive is where you specifically darken someone's skin to indicate that they are not good, or they are immoral, or they are, you know, like a bad human being. And they're, like, darkening his skin to have him play like an evil dictator. When there are plenty of, like, kind of quite... You know, it's not that outrageous to have a Middle Eastern person with quite light skin, you know?
to make them look as brown-coated as possible. Aladdin finds a new body double, and his name is Afawadih. Then we go to his bedroom. Look at this painting. It's absurd. There's two layers of hate here. First, it implies Arabs loathe scientific progress. Einstein is the global symbol of genius. Even today, you call someone who's really smart an Einstein. Second, Einstein was Jewish, so it's saying both Arabs are anti-intellectual and anti-Semitic. It's a double-layered insult.
Bro is spotting things that I ain't even seen. Fair play.
Has relations with, whoa, early 2010s reference Megan Fox, and takes a photo of her that he sticks up on a wall as photographic proof of his body count. We see other photos and okay, Oprah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's funny. This scene is an allegory on how the rich and powerful get away with doing whatever they want. I argue this is universal throughout the world, and I'm going to talk a bit more about this.
Yippee! Langium, thank you for the gifted thank you for the gifted sub. Thanks for supporting the channel, mate. Albert Einstein didn't I actually read a great Einstein quote the other day. Google Docies. I need to get on my Google Docies. Hold on. Kaplan. Kaplan. So, Einstein said that Jews and Arabs should live together. He opposed a Jewish state. He said, the state idea is not according to my heart. It is connected with narrow-mindedness and economic obstacles. I believe it is bad. I have always been against it. And they also wrote that letter calling Begin a fascist, but I'm sure someone will be like, actually, he did support it. But thank you so much, Langium, for the gifted. Incredibly kind. And Kenji, enjoy your gifted.
As it pertains to Arab rulers later on in the video. We see Aladdin playing a Wii-style game. He chops off heads to unlock a certain type of vest. This is a direct shot at the 90s and 2000s, referencing tactics used by groups in Palestine to fight Israeli dominance. It feels gross to watch him treat this like a high-score achievement. We see the game selection screen and it lists terrorist attacks that have happened around the world. Revolting. He chooses the Olympics shooting option, and we see his character shooting Israelis with an AK-47 gun. This is a reference to the 1972 Summer Olympics.
That was, by the way, that fucking clip was fucking insane.
Munich massacre. In 1972, the Palestinian militant organization Black September attacked the Munich Olympics. They broke into the Olympic Village, killed 2 Israeli athletes, and took 9 others hostage. During a botched rescue attempt, all 9 hostages were killed. The group named the...
I've been there. I remember them talking about it. Is that people with dark skin were literally cursed. I know that. I've heard that before. Yeah, the game is crazy. The way that they look, the way that they've made Jewish people look in that game is kind of crazy, especially because obviously I would assume most of the Munich Olympic, the Israeli Olympic team would not have been Orthodox Jewish people.
Attack after 2 Palestinian villages. Israel had expelled the people from those villages in 1948. It remains one of the darkest moments in sports history.
I'll remove that comment. No Fed posting. No Fed posting.
It's sad to see it being played as a joke here by Sacha Baron Cohen to further trivialize and demonize people. Aladdin goes to New York City and hosts a parade where he...
It's also what led to the killing of Ghassan Kanafani, isn't it? In like part, he was killed in... Was it called Operation Wrath of God? Wrath of God. Kanafani was killed in... Was he killed in Operation Wrath of God? I guess he was killed for another massacre, involvement in another massacre, allegedly. But, I mean, I don't think that's why. You know that Israel killed all of the most competent Palestinians who spoke, like, beautiful, poetic English. Like, it was something that they intentionally did. And Kanafani was obviously a very, very particularly important individual in that. Kanafani was an amazing linguist.
He's riding on a camel with Lambos following behind. A show of greed and wealth. Camels are such beautiful animals. Enter John C. Reilly playing an American security guard assigned to Aladdin. He tells Aladdin he hates Arabs. Aladdin tries to deflect, claiming he isn't one. This is called comedic irony and allows Sasha to claim plausible deniability if asked why he made General Aladdin Arab. I say he isn't Arab in the movie. If it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it probably is a duck. Secondly, this is a direct nod to Muammar Gaddafi. In the later years of his rule, the Libyan dictator tried to distance himself from the Arab world. He claimed,
Like, did you really need to darken your skin to play Gaddafi?
he wasn't Arab at all. He shifted the focus to African unity, rebranding himself as an African leader. But it was all a ploy. He wanted a bigger stage. He traded one title for another so he could claim to be the king of kings of the entire African continent. The whole thing was a facade so he could attempt a power grab of Africa. The security guard's response, "You're all Arabs to me." He lumps in everyone. Black people, Jewish people, even the quote-unquote blue queers from Avatar. This is classic Sacha Baron Cohen, attacking Americans too. It's a loud, blunt portrayal of Orientalism. It's trying to tell us that bigoted Americans view the rest of the world as one big, identical other. It's funny, but it's rooted in supremacy and the arrogance of colonialism. It's also tongue-in-cheek because a lot of what...
I think a comment like that hits so much less when you consider who Sacha Baron Cohen is. Like, satirizing Americans being just racist morons, and British people as well. You know, seeing Islam as just like this kind of broad race is like, you know, it's funny. It's comical because it's true. But simultaneously, like, Sacha Baron Cohen supporting Israel is just proof that he too is just an ignorant, bigoted racist.
the movie is doing is exactly that, trying to reinforce
They blew up his car, yes, and blamed the PFLP for the airport massacre when it was the PFLP EO. They had so many fucking splinter groups. And of course, yeah, he had to... this is something that my friend from Gaza spoke about a lot. They are literally convinced that one of the reasons Yasser Arafat survived, although Israel did try and assassinate him a lot, in part was because he was never that competent in English.
Negative stereotypes about people. But I'm wondering if this is actually an inside joke by John C. Reilly trying to tell us he's aware of what this movie is trying to do. The security guard recommends seeing the Empire State Building.
I guess, like, the point of this and, like, kind of talking about this is, why was this film made? Who was it made by? It was made by someone who's just a massive Zionist who wanted to justify a brutal and barbaric American invasion.
Before General Aladdin or one of his sand monkey cousins takes it down. This is a reference to 9/11, and the racial slur sand monkeys is wildly offensive. This is likely Sacha Baron Cohen's writing, given his deeply ingrained Zionist roots. John C. Reilly has been seen waving Palestinian flags in support of the people. Free Palestine. General Aladdin and Uncle Tamer are seen holding hands in many scenes, including this one. This is another clear hint that his character is Arab. Men holding hands is a sign of friendship in the Arab world. It's quite common to see in Kuwait, where I'm from, and in many Arab countries. Assigning a label of homosexual to it is ethnocentric and diminishes cultural practices that have been going on for centuries. Aladdin is laying in bed and we hear ominous Arabic-sounding chanting. A President's Man Lying in the Sand, the Chuck Norris movie I reviewed, uses Arabic chanting every other scene to make it look and sound like Arabs are evil. We get a mock torture scene and the security guard is going to use the device on him and he says,
You're gonna get khara on your trousers.
He says khara. That's the Arabic word for shit. He shows him another tool and Aladdin comments that it's been banned in Saudi Arabia for being too safe. It's implying Saudi Arabia tortures people and they use worse torture devices. I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen had a crystal ball because this did happen to Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. They tortured...
I mean, obviously, the Saudis were torturing people at this point quite heavily, but the major issue is like, you know, this was already going on. You know what the amazing thing is? Because some people would be like, well, this is what happens when someone who isn't a Muslim or isn't, you know, like Arab or isn't from the Middle East makes a film like this. But think about this fucking film. Four Lions could have been like just one of the biggest racist slot pieces ever made. And yet it is such a nuanced, interesting film that kind of satirizes like, you know, people who engage in militancy and all of this stuff, and like people who engage in like militancy in the UK, and it's not offensive. It's more just quite funny. and sad in many ways. And it literally ends with a scene unlike this, where it's, you know, a British guy who's like, you're now in Egypt technically, and we can do whatever we want to you. They're like, this container is Egyptian and we're going to torture you in it, basically. Like, yeah, I don't know, you just look at Four Lions. But Four Lions is made by someone who actually has, like, you know, a strong regard for what he's talking about. And I don't know what Chris Morris's views are on Palestine. I don't know if he's ever commented on Palestine. But Chris Morris certainly actually had a deep regard. This is just like, haha, isn't it funny that dictators are extreme? Also, maybe it was cool what we did, because this was released a year later after it happened.
And murdered him for being...
Yeah, I love the character who's... There's a great line where he's like, has your dad ever bought a Jaffa orange? It's actually way better than the Rubber Dinghy Rapids one. He goes, has your dad ever bought a Jaffa orange? Yeah, he's buying nukes for Israel, bro.
Critical of the Saudi government, and the Saudi government has officially admitted to doing it. Al-Adin escapes with his beard burned off and only wearing his underwear. He tells a homeless man if he gives him his clothes, he'll make a sizable donation in his name to Al-Qaeda. This is implying Arabs support Al-Qaeda, the Sunni extremist transnational terror network founded in 1988 by Osama bin Laden. This movie was filmed in 2011 and likely before Osama bin Laden was killed. Fawadi pees in a jar at the United Nations, then he goes over to the Israeli delegation and pours it all over them. Cohen can't help himself. He has to include moments where Arabs attack Israelis. Even as...
I don't know, pouring piss on the Israelis is kind of based. And cringe Israel getting piss poured on them.
As a quote-unquote joke.
You should watch Four Lions. It's an incredible film.
It reinforces the same tired narrative of supposed constant aggression, which is just pure projection. Fawad promises peace by changing Wadia, the name of the country that General Al-Adin is from a dictatorship to a democracy. This is political ethnocentrism. It's the arrogant belief that Western-style democracy is the only civilized way to live. It frames any other government...
Okay, right. So I do have, and maybe this comes from a different belief, I guess actually he did say Western style, but when you look at it, most people do actually want to change and have some kind of accountable government. Like, the Arab Spring really showed that. Like, people in the Middle East have fought for democratic projects for a very long time. It's just, I guess, the enforcement of Western style things, which is the specifically problematic thing.
As backwards or broken, democracy doesn't automatically mean a perfectly peaceful country. It suggests the East is lost and needs the West to find enlightenment. It's an old colonial...
Anti-Semitic
power play that disregards established customs. It treats freedom like a Western export that can only be achieved by their flavor of democracy. It's offensive, lazy, and completely lacks nuance, but...
Yeah, Hawking was hanging out at Epstein Island, if you mean Stephen Hawking.
It sounds good to a Western audience. Democracy isn't the only way to have a peaceful country. One example is my country, Kuwait. It's a constitutional monarchy that ranks 31 on the global...
Who are the Badoon, mate? Kuwait is not necessarily like, I don't know, like, I don't think we can kind of be like, that's perfect. And I think people in Kuwait would actually probably like to live under something more accountable.
Global Peace Index.
Democracy is the final form of oppression. I don't think that's true necessarily. I think Western-style democracy being imposed on you is a form of imperialism. And I do think where you're told, oh yeah, you can have a democracy, but where that democracy is entirely benevolent to the West, that's not democracy. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Of course, like, just Western-style democracy being imposed on you is kind of like insane.
Is the highest rated Arab country at 27.
And of course, every country who has has these problems. And I don't think, by the way, I don't think the UK is like a beautiful, amazingly democratic thing. I feel like basically we're just in hock to the Americans.
But wait a minute, where's the United States? A democracy that's really a plutocracy. I see. It's on the next page, rated in the lower half. America's rank is 128. even lower than Saudi Arabia, which is 90. Just for fun, let's look at Israel's ranking. Ouch, it's in the bottom 10 worst rated peaceful countries in the world. The rank number is 155. Makes sense for a colonizer, ethnocentric nation with nukes that's actively committing genocide. Fawad greets a crowd. He says, hello person, then he stops and says, hello black.
Yeah, an American was arrested in Kuwait, an American journalist, because he filmed an attack.
Black person. It's a moment where Sacha Baron Cohen's racism shines through. We've seen this in Borat, where he literally says the N-word for a laugh.
Bang bang, skeet skeet, nigga.
He gets away with it because he has the it's just a character excuse. But when he does it in every single movie, it's just racist.
What's going down in Town, my nigga? Bang bang, skeet skeet, nigga.
My nigger.
We're gonna see more black and Asian racism later on in this movie, so get ready. Aladdin dons the disguise of Alison Burgers and meets Zoe, played by Anna Faris. She takes him to her store, then says it's her vegan, feminist, non-profit cooperative. They're operating with an anti-racist, anti-oppressive framework for people of all or no genders. That actually sounds incredible, and I would love to shop there.
Able to speak of democracy in general, but a Marxist will never forget to ask for what class. I mean, yeah. I guess what you're I guess that is correct in the sense of like the current form of democracy we have is just not really very it's not really very accountable. Like they're largely in hock to billionaire classes and large corporations and companies. I mean, in the UK, we are basically entirely in hock to the bond market. Like right now, even the choice of potentially putting Andy Burnham in power, who is by no means a leftist, has just worried the bond market because this core figure, what's his name? Who's the head of the Bank of England? Andrew Bailey. Yeah.
Think about it. This is supposed to be a punchline to the mainly conservative foreign.
But I do think people want a right to choose. They want something that is accountable, that is relevant to them, a leadership who represents and puts forward their interests. And in every single case in the MENA region where they have tried to do that, it has always been denied to them, or if they have, it has been targeted. I guess you also have the case of like Cuba as well, where Cuba has a system that the people like and support, and a considerable number have supported. And what has the Americans done? Targeted it with every single in every single way that they can.
Hating and liberal hating American and Israeli audiences this movie is aimed at. It's framed as a joke according to this movie. An Arab-coded, loony conservative dictator is going into a liberal store. It's all a setup for mockery. Yep, there it is. She says there's clothes in the lesbian bathroom. Bathrooms aren't segregated by who you have sex with. They're segregated by gender. Side note, there's a massive debate in America about gender-segregated bathrooms. The Arabs have solved this problem centuries ago with Arab-style bathrooms. Single occupancy, lockable rooms, or floor-to-ceiling stall doors. You get total privacy.
Okay, I mean, yeah, this is just the very obvious solution. Just the very obvious solution. I mean, I've spoken about this before. Anyone who's going on about trans women and bathrooms, I'm sorry, just this is literally the solution. This is the only solution, and it's not about trans women. It's about everyone's safety in a fucking bathroom. Not just safety from not specifically safety from trans people, but it's just nonsense that people are so obsessed with the bathrooms and they don't know the first thing about it.
See while you do your business. Then everyone shares a common vanity area to wash their hands. This solves every bathroom war issue. You get maximum privacy where it matters.
Okay, that bathroom looks fire.
And a shared space for everything else. It's practical, inclusive, and efficient. General Aladdin tells Zoe it's adorable that she's educated. He claims men find women's schooling cute but meaningless. This is a textbook Orientalist stereotype. It's a made-up colonial fantasy that Arab men are inherently superior and Arab women are passive or uneducated. It's also flat out wrong. In the real world, Arab women are leaders in science, law, and academia. They're part of an intellectual society. The movie ignores this reality to sell a backwards caricature. It frames the entire East as a place where women's minds don't...
If I have to poo bad enough, no sign will stop me. But, yeah, that's why we need these bathrooms, mate. So there's freedom to do what you please in those bathrooms. Have someone like you in the UK. Yeah, I know. I feel like everyone's like, oh, it's surprising in the UK that you're not like racist, and it's actually like maybe more it's surprising that I'm not transphobic, because everyone here loves a bit of transphobia. When is calling a society racist itself racist? I think the better argument is that Zionists calling other societies racist is deeply hypocritical. 100%, 100%. 100%. And by the way, Terratro, thanks for the $2. Thank you for supporting the channel.
Matter. Let's look at Saudi Arabia. It's a big Arab country with a massive Arab population. By 2010, women officially eclipsed men in college enrollment. Today, Saudi women make up 51.8% of all university students in the country. Women are the majority. The data doesn't lie. The uneducated Arabian woman trope is both offensive and dead. As I predicted, the inclusive shop was a setup to attack people. He makes fun of a woman with no hands, an African descent man, where he asks him to bring him 100 child soldiers because of the stereotype of child soldiers in Africa. Now Aladdin is turning into Bora, and it's dumb. Later on in the movie, he straight up says this about him.
Captain Hook and Blackie.
The movie shows women being brought to Fawad's room. It leans into a common critique, the hypocritical Arab ruler. The trope suggests these leaders enforce strict, ultra-religious laws on their people while breaking every rule behind closed doors. We can see this playing out in reality, despite Jeffrey Epstein being a convicted sex
I guess, yeah, like, this is just, why people always be doing this kind of shit. Like, Trump does this shit. Trump pretends to be a fucking Christian who upholds Christian values, but is obviously, you know, an ex-friend of Jeffrey Epstein and a sex offender who enforces these things on migrants. Your only bigotry is your hatred of gamers. I am a gamer, so I'm allowed to be hateful towards gamers. Anna Faris was in this movie too. I forgot. Who's Anna Faris? I don't remember Anna Faris in this film. Is she... Who is she? Is she Zoe?
trafficker back in 2008, several Arab rulers have been caught corresponding with him via email and taking pictures with him. They profess to be moral models, yet their private life...
It's also really fucking funny that the country that pretends to be the most civilized, the most, like, moral and acceptable, the most westernized is the one that had the politician with the closest relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Lives tell a different story. This double standard is a valid target for satire. But I'm not just ruling out Arab rulers. We know Epstein's
I never knew she was married to Chris Pratt. Oh, ex-wife Chris Pratt.
This list included the entire world's most powerful people. But it hits differently when a leader claims to rule by strict conservative religious laws. They demand total moral purity from their people while associating with a monster behind the scenes. It is the ultimate hypocrisy. Fawad is portrayed as sexually clueless, so dumb he tries to literally milk one of the women like he does his sheep. You could read this as a jab at Arab men being incompetent or backwards regarding women, but the movie frames it as him being...
Nah, I actually do think that there's probably a good point in there of kind of talking about this kind of thing. This kind of thing specifically to do with how in Arab men are now portrayed as like kind of, you know, a bit backwards, sexually inexperienced, that they kind of want these virgins, even though someone who's had sex in Western society would know, actually you don't want to be sleeping with virgins, although that is kind of coming back, you know. That is kind of something that is coming back. God, searching girl with a microphone has just brought me up some of the most moronic things imaginable. I'm getting replies from like Ethan Klein fans going, if free speech means you can attack someone's kids with consequences, maybe the internet doesn't deserve this kind of freedom. Thank you, Sharianne Smith. What are you talking about? The cleanliness. I really hate Borgasm, cheap bastards. American bathrooms with the cracks in the doors and walls. I don't understand this. Yeah, no, that is one of the craziest parts. I don't really get the British ones. You know, I was in London the other day and you could just pee in the street. They had like one of those urinals set up and I like that.
Being a simple sheep herder from the countryside. It's less of a deep message about Arab masculinity and more of a cheap fish out of water gag. Aladdin's working at the store when a child is rude to him and we see him kick a kid. Is this supposed to be funny? Because I don't get it. Dude, it's slapstick. But as someone who's seen every single Three Stooges movie, I don't ever remember seeing them hitting a child. This is just mean. Aladdin catches a guy stealing from the register. The guy mocks him. Who are you? Osama bin Laden's best friend? Aladdin jokes back that bin Laden is actually staying in his guest house. This plays into a tired conspiracy theory that Arab countries...
Oh, Momo Shams 95. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the channel at tier 1. Incredibly kind. Incredibly kind. I don't know. The kicking a kid thing is kind of funny. I'm gonna say it. You know, he's kind of based for that one. Yeah, the cracks in the doors are just insane. I don't know. I don't know why you have that. People peek through those cracks to see if the stall is occupied. I don't do my best to make eye contact with them.
These are one giant safe house for terrorists. Every Arab leader is secretly harboring the world's most wanted men. It's
also kind of funny, right, that the actual group, the actual country harboring bin Laden was one of America's closest allies, right? The Pakistanis. The Pakistanis, who've had a long integrated relationship with the Americans, had bin Laden was there, which is kind of an interesting point.
the same old propaganda used to justify endless suspicion of an entire region.
And also, look at the fucking horrifying consequences. Sudan, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, Sudan got forced into joining the Abraham Accords because they were like, we won't remove you from the state sponsor of terror unless you sign the Abraham Accords.
Here's some truth. The Saudis hated bin Laden. They revoked his citizenship and froze his assets in 1994. There isn't even a hint of truth to this idea, but that's the point.
I mean, ooh. I think that there's more complexity to this. I seem to remember Blowback talking quite a lot about this, and also a lot of young Saudi men had already gone over to fight in the Afghan Jihad, as it's called, or the war against the Soviet Union. But yeah, I mean, still, there were obviously countries that sheltered him, and I feel like Saudi's relationship was more complex with him. The falling out really came over the first Gulf War, as opposed to like a real hatred of them, and like the real issue really came around that, right? The first Gulf War and the stationing of Americans near the holy sites. That's what bin Laden was actually mad about. Yeah, bin Laden's compound was within like 200 kilometers of Pakistani intelligence HQ. Kind of funny that, isn't it?
Point, right? To spread lies. Aladdin is in a goofy American flag-inspired disguise, but he wants to add to the disguise. So what does he do? Throws Asian racism into the movie. Aladdin pulls his eyelids back and does a mocking Asian accent.
So when we go to fly, don't do this. I'm Chinese American.
He jokes about R's becoming L's. Then he does it again, claiming to be Filipino. He ends the scene by quote-unquote walking black, saying that's how they walk. Honestly, what is this? All I see is Sacha Baron Cohen venting his own racism. He uses the comedy label as a shield to reinforce the ugliest stereotypes and
I mean, so much of this is just like outdated comedy that just isn't really very funny anymore. But particularly, it's the fact that he's a Zionist, because the CIA paid for the Gulf Sheikhs to declare a jihad against the USSR. Interesting. They did because the CIA paid for the Gulf Sheikhs to declare a jihad against the USSR. Interesting.
Imaginable, and it feels bizarre.
Why did the US decide to overthrow Saddam? That is like an interesting, very, very large question. Now, the simplest answer someone might go for is oil. Of course, there was a major overreach. So Saddam basically got himself in loads of debt from... Saddam basically got himself in loads of debt during the Iran-Iraq war. The debt came from Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. They were the ones giving him the loans. And so he eventually invading Kuwait to try and recoup some of the money that he lost. But there's also this key point of, if you look at the Middle East, the Americans have basically been eliminating every possible threat to Israel through that time. Saddam was one of the last leaders who was... You know, he had been reliable for the US, but he wasn't always. There's even a funny thing of, by the way, it's called the Saddam Green Light, the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait. Saddam believed that he'd got a green light from the US to invade Kuwait because
Welcome to the burgerite.
apparently he was told that's none of my business. Cow Mila, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. Thank you for supporting the channel. It was always incredibly kind. But yeah, he believed that he could. And I think that there's also the military-industrial complex making loads of money and balancing the power of the region. I think that that plays a major role in it, of balancing the power of the region and seizing the parts of the Persian Gulf. You know?
It isn't humor when a joke has no point other than, look at what I think this race does. What it really is a minstrel show. Why is this in a major motion picture? Because the shield of character acting lets him get away with being a straight up racist. Aladdin is in a helicopter with Nidal, and they're speaking a mock gibberish Arabic-like language. They're saying things that sound similar to 9/11, but they're actually talking about the car by Porsche. They say Osama bin Laden with zoom-ins to their lips. We see him open his jacket and it looks like a bomber vest. Then he starts doing a countdown. The Americans scream and it cuts to them getting arrested. This whole scene is doubling down on American hysteria. You can make the argument.
But honestly, it was probs both. What do you mean? IS? What do you mean? I can't remember what the argument that Takriti made was interesting. He was just like, when it comes to oil, like what was it specifically? Like Saddam Hussein was kind of in this situation of he'd overreached, but there was no real reason to do it, you know? There was no real reason to, like, do the Gulf War. They probably could have got him out of there with diplomacy, to be honest. Meta strategy was all about Russia, Iraq, and Afghanistan would have positioned US forces on Russia's southern underbelly. Turkey and Saudis were part of this plan. But why would they need it? Because Russia allowed bases to be used by NATO, right?
Argument, it's making social commentary on how quickly Americans label Arabs as terrorists. But remember, he was purposefully saying certain trigger words, so that argument does.
Don't forget the Israelis, US proxy, also directly armed the Iranians in the Iraq war. Well, the Israelis actually thought for the longest time that the Iranians would still support them, that with the rhetoric that they would be fine with it. Because when that scandal emerged, by the way, this is on the litany of fucked up things the Islamic Republic has done. By the way, they had executed the guy who exposed, and it really damaged, oh my god, Ayatollah Montazeri, because he had some vague relationship with Montazeri, or well, maybe it wasn't even vague, but the guy who exposed the Iran-Contra affair and its relationship to Israel was actually executed by the Iranians, by the Iranian government, because he exposed that the country had been had a relationship with Israel. But yeah, I think that this other thing of like about like how it represents is, I think it was about doing away with a powerful dictator who was not pro-West enough. I think that ultimately, if you're not some pliant dictator who's normalized with Israel, then they're done with you. The US loves dictators, but they want bland, personalityless dictators. This is actually the thing. There are so many fucking dictators in the world who we don't speak about because they're really bland. MBZ is pretty bland. He does have some pretty sadistic and bad plans for the MENA region, but he's pretty bland in public, you know? He's not like Gaddafi where he got that flair. He got that sauce.
Doesn't fit. We're at the police station and Zoe is...
Thank you, Calmila. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the community. Thank you for supporting, and thank you all for making streaming possible. The donations, yeah, they're just always so incredibly kind, and they just help, you know, to do this. It's so kind. Thank you so much.
Defending Aladdin. She says the police are profiling him, and it makes her out to look like a hero. But remember, he was saying trigger words on purpose. What this scene is really doing is mocking progressive Americans who blindly defend people even when there is grounds for suspicion. It's making people look foolish for defending Muslims and framing them as naive for trusting them. It wants to say profiling is common sense when it comes to Arabs and Muslims. It's really dangerous rhetoric. It leads to incidents like when a man was arrested and deboarded from a plane last year. Why? A call for a prayer alarm was playing from his phone as a reminder. The Americans on the plane lost their collective minds and even claimed he had a bomb. A military team showed up and forcibly deboarded him from the plane.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? The US has good relations with nearly 3/4 of dictators in the world. It's why it's so mental, where, like, you hear people who are just like, well, invading Iran is good this time because we're concerned about the people. It's like, have you ever read a piece of history? Have you ever, in fact, you don't even have to read a piece of history. Were you alive last year? Were you alive yesterday? Were you politically cognizant the day before? How dare you sit there and tell me about how America's going to invade Iran to make it look better? The chances of invading Iran to make the country better are maybe 1%. In fact, they're 0.01%. You have senior American politicians who literally talk about giving weapons to random people in Iran, which is the most ridiculous idea ever, because that is what they did in Syria, and what actually turned, quite popular sentiment against the government into really destructive violence. And that's why, I just find it so hard to sit here. And it's like, yeah, the Islamic Republic is very bad. It is very repressive. It is engaged in heinous execution campaigns. It is engaged in major repression and all of these things. But simultaneously, the Americans would have no problem if this was done anywhere else.
No credible threat was found and all charges were dropped. Aladdin claims he was sexually assaulted. Zoe mentions his support center for rape victims. Aladdin flips the script, saying he'll bring his quote-unquote raping shoes, implying that he's the one who's going to be committing the crimes. One could argue it paints Arab men as predators who see women as objects, but honestly, it just reads as a desperate shock value gag. It's taking a horrific subject and turning it into a dumb guy punchline. It's not clever, it's not insightful, and it doesn't land.
The US also loves dictators who murder massive amounts of people. And yeah, we must save the people by wiping them out. 100%. 100%. Let's destroy all of their energy infrastructure, set the country back decades, set their quality of life back decades, and then just be like, you now have Reza Pahlavi to rule over you forever. La Bubu. Yalla Habibi, S3S, thank you for the $5. Good stream today. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I hate this. I need to stop. I'm going to be out on Friday, so I'm not streaming on Friday, but I'll see if I'm feeling up to doing a stream on Saturday, and then we got the special Kissing Isaac stream.
And it just makes me feel sick for even hearing it. He doubles down on this quote-unquote joke when he goes to Zoe, saying he wants to have relations with her. But she says she won't and that he needs to touch himself. He claims he doesn't know what that means, and she says she'll show him, and his response is, "Are you going to take me to the rape center?" Implying he's going to touch himself while he's there. Sickening. He says he learns how to make his own lebna. The fact that he's using the word lebna. Lebna is a thick, tangy, and creamy Middle Eastern strained yogurt. You typically eat it with khubz or pita bread, like with hummus. In this scene, he uses the word balboul, which is funny because that's Kuwaiti slang for the male member. Does it mean the same thing in Hebrew? Let me know in the comments. We get a scene where Aladdin is battling a large-chested soldier. There's comedic moments, including a Shining reference. Sorry I can't show you any of it on YouTube, but I do want to say that I thought parts of it were funny. Aladdin
I don't remember this in the film.
Starts changing from his dictator ways and sides with Zoe. They're protesting outside a competing grocery store.
You know what's really interesting as well? There's this current thread of trying to deny that the coup happened because apparently Mossadegh wasn't like this awesome Democrat. Mossadegh was like categorically a Democrat. He was. But what they don't realize, and I think I agree with Ervand Abrahamian's point, is this basically doomed the Pahlavi monarchy because it could never find legitimacy. Because even if people didn't like or weren't supporters of the Khomeini or the Islamic current of the revolution, they still viewed the Shah as having no legitimacy. And everything he did to try and get legitimacy just didn't work. The white revolution didn't work. In Hebrew, it means mixed up. Thank you, Yehuda.
He makes a crass remark about Zoe's appearance, and I want to talk about it. Aladdin spends the whole movie mocking Zoe's appearance, claiming she looks like a man. None of it lands. The only people who would see these as jokes or would laugh at them would be misogynists. I'm not seeing any satire here, and there's no clever commentary on
It does feel like you could just put in the most stupid comedy. I watched that a Canadian film, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, and there's a bit where they're just watching the Hangover, and it's just people saying the F slur, and it's like, okay.
Gender roles or cultural clashes. It just feels like flat out slander. Another thing they do throughout the movie is they do covers of famous American songs, but do them with Arabic. There's also musical instrumentation that sounds surprisingly Arab. I'll give the movie credit. They did their homework on the music. It sounds authentic, and typically Hollywood movies rarely are when it comes to Arabic sounding music. Aladdin mocks Zoe's body, then Nidal brings up the Menudo incident. The joke implies Aladdin preys on children. Menudo was a popular Puerto Rican boy band from the 1970s whose members are all young boys. It suggests Arab dictators aren't just hypersexual towards women, they're violent predators towards children too. The funny thing is, it's a massive distraction from reality. Look at the Jeffrey Epstein case. The guy was convicted in 2008. The vast majority of his clients and associates were American and his...
Was Michael Jackson associated with Jeffrey Epstein? Is that true?
Israeli, Christian, and Jewish, not Arab or Muslim. I'm not saying
Nirvana the band, the show, the movie was actually really good.
There's a correlation or stereotyping. I'm just stating what we know so far. The data shows where the real network of abuse lives. But Hollywood would rather you laugh at a fictional Arab predator than look at the actual predators in the West. It's a classic case of projection. They take a Western crisis and wear it as an Arab costume. Need I remind you of the Catholic Church or the Southern Baptist Church when it comes to these things? The same point is repeated and reinforced later in the movie. Aladdin says, it's like a 10-year-old boy's. Normally I don't kiss a 10-year-old boy's stomach. They kiss mine. Completely disgusting. We get a scene with actor JB Smoove, who's famous for being in...
He is really funny. This guy is hilarious, JB Smoove. He's hilarious as Leon in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Implicated with Epstein, but I don't think we'll be very much. Interesting, I didn't remember the Michael Jackson stuff. This was goated though. JB Smoove.
Your enthusiasm. Just like in Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen can't help but say the N-word.
My nigger.
Then he tells him he's sorry about how Whitney turned out, and he means Whitney Houston, implying he thinks this person is Bobby Brown. And what's the point of this anyways? To make Arabs look racist?
Who's Bobby Brown? Nah, I don't even think that that's to make Arabs look racist. I think that's because Sacha Baron Cohen supports Israel. And there's a thin line between Zionism and just being racist to everyone you've ever met.
I argue it's just Sacha Baron Cohen letting the mask slip and showing his bigotry with the defense of, it's just a comedy movie, bro. We see him double down on this racism later in the movie. Aladdin calls a different black character Morgan Freeman, because all black people look the same, right, Sasha? A woman is giving birth.
Whitney Houston's abusive husband. Interesting, I didn't know that.
And when Aladdin finds out it's a girl, he asks, where's the trash can? This is Orientalism in two layers. First, it claims Arab men don't value women. Second, it implies Arabs commit female infanticide, which is a flat-out lie. The movie is hijacking a real, tragic issue and pinning it on the wrong culture. It's a complex humanitarian crisis, but the movie doesn't care about facts. It's a smear tactic designed to make the...
Also, like, once again, all of this stuff, because you see how this feeds, like, bigoted... It's always going to feed someone who's bigoted, who doesn't appreciate that this kind of stuff particularly happens in places where people are very poor, and it's like, well, a girl isn't going to be able to work when they're young, especially in the case of somewhere like India, And I guess China as well, where for very poor people.
AKA anyone who isn't from the West, look the same, and I find it monstrous. Aladdin says to Nidal, you are such a schmuck. A schmuck is an American slang term derived from Yiddish, meaning foolish or stupid. He says he picked up the word because he's in New York, a city known for its high Jewish population. Nidal responds with, we're trying to erase that country off the map, meaning Israel. This is a core argument of the Zionist narrative, the claim that Arabs want to eradicate Israel. It's a strategy used to boil a complex struggle down to a simple victim story. Everyone hates us and the world is out to kill us. This narrative flips reality. It hides the fact that Israel is the colonizer, constantly attacking and displacing Palestinians. They repeat this lie to justify mass killings. Look at the numbers since October 7, 2023. About 70,000 Palestinians have been killed. Experts
God. Just fucking insane. Just fucking insane. Did you know as well that when Israel invaded Israeli invasion of Lebanon 1982, apparently Israel never killed that many PLO fighters, according to the PLO had a force of for like apparently between 1,000 and 2,000 were killed by the Israelis invading. Apparently 654 Israelis were killed. Alongside, apparently 6,000 PLO fighters were captured, although maybe that would be, maybe one would quibble with that, and I feel like they would have expanded that to basically mean a lot of people knowing Israel. But the PLO apparently held up pretty well. Israel just did this. They killed 19,000 people, wounded 30,000.
Estimate that 70% of those victims are women and children. About 2,000 Israelis have died. It's a tactic used to maintain a one-sided occupation through superior force and is constantly parodied in movies like this to brainwash you into thinking it actually has even a little bit of truth, which it doesn't. There's a funny joke about how Crocs are the universal symbol of a man who has given up hope. Okay, I agree with that one. Nadal jokes that the new constitution will bring free press, women drivers, and civil rights. Aladdin asks what civil rights even are. It's a sharp jab, but let's look at the data. First, women drivers. In 2011,
how they stopped counting the moment the fake ceasefire went into effect. I know, it's also just the fact of like how heinous life is in Gaza right now, and the Israelis just get to maintain that and carry on the genocide. Like, they're just allowed to do it. The aid is still not flowing in correctly. That they're banning everything from going in so people can't live their lives.
when this movie was being made, Saudi Arabia was the only Arab country that banned women from driving. So it's taking one country's specific law and pinning it on the entire Arab world as a lazy generalization. Saudi Arabia changed the law and has allowed women to drive since 2018. Next, free press. The Press Freedom Index paints a grim picture. Arab countries consistently rank in the bottom 100. However, the Free West isn't perfect either. America ranks at 57, and Israel often falls into the lower
Bro, shout out Qatar. Qatar's higher than Israel.
100 alongside many Arab nations. It's a classic.
You gotta mention Qatar. You gotta mention Qatar, bro. You have to mention Qatar. It's also really funny because, like, how dictatorial is it really that your military gets to censor anything published about them?
Propaganda move. Call out the other for a problem that you have yourself. Speaking of press freedom, I want to point out a recent negative example. An American Kuwaiti journalist was detained in Kuwait for 52 days for sharing public news, photos, and videos about the United States-Iran war. Everything he shared was already public. He was eventually acquitted, but the fact that he was held at all is shameful. Finally, civil rights. The data is tough. On a scale of 0 to 1, the United States scores 0.83 and Israel scores 0.79.
I wonder if this is like a Freedom House, because whatever the UAE is up to, I am sorry, how can you even be on a scale like this when you're running an apartheid regime? It's just mental. It genuinely is. It's genuinely just insane that this is the reality. I don't know, I think how much did Al Jazeera pay for that free press rank? It's not actually necessarily that impressive. It's more that there's just this fact of, like, a lot of countries don't really have free press. Like, Israel's is so insanely unfree.
Most Arab countries score below 0.5, though Jordan hits 0.67. In this case, the critique is fair. The Arab region has a long way to go. We have to be honest with ourselves. The Arab world can and should do better. We can't ignore.
Guys, I want to interrupt this broadcast to bring you a tragic piece of news. A piece of news that none of you will take lightly. Israeli platforms announced the death of platoon commander Itamar Sapir, 27, from settlement of Ariel. The platforms say he died in southern Lebanon, so it must have been a separate incident from the FPV strike on the IOF vehicle in Misgav Am earlier. He was the platoon commander for Maglan. According to Hadashot Bezmen, Sapir was killed when a Hezbollah fighter shot him with small arms from a building near Quza. the occupation army hasn't found the resistance fighter. I think we should all take a moment's silence of not posting emojis in the chat to show how sad we are about this one. The Israeli soldier who died invading another person's land, who died following the policy of stealing other people's land, of assassinating and killing everyone to establish peace, because that's really, really worked. And don't you worry, Sloaney, the goon platoon managed to get him in time. I've checked already.
Or the data. We have to learn from it to become better. Now, I'm not absolving the movie's attack on Arabs, but I can say when it comes to press freedom, this is a fair jab. Nadal starts naming what he calls great dictators. Hussein, Gaddafi, Kim Jong, and Cheney. That's funny, calling Dick Cheney a dictator. Dick Cheney was vice president to George W. Bush. Before that, he was CEO of Halliburton from 1995 to 2000.
It's just like, I don't know, I feel like some people would be really annoyed at, like, people having a positive reaction, but, like, you know, it's a young person that died, okay, but he died invading another person's land. He died maintaining a situation in which they continually steal and mass murder Palestinians. It is fucking insane that we kind of have to be like, that there's, like, this whole thing of, like, you know, people will say, oh my god, it's tragic when an Israeli soldier dies because they're a young man. It's like, yeah, young people getting fed into a meat grinder by Zionism so they can embrace racism. And it's like, that guy was doing, Yehuda. He was doing, the guy was a double settler. He was an actual settler, and then he went into fucking, Lebanon. And by the way, sorry, this is also another interruption. Pretty clear that because of the there's a major issue are really dangerous because you can basically create a kill zone with a drone. You can create a situation people cannot enter an area and doing it quite well. And now Israel is stuck. They can't move in large amounts. Also, I was thinking about this earlier. I haven't seen anyone mention it, but surely this has created a major problem for Israel. What has continually tried to do in southern Lebanon is to demolish as much as possible. You can't demolish stuff because you probably need more buildings to hide, else they're just straight up in the open.
2000. Halliburton is a corporation and the world's second largest oil service company. Drums of the Iraq invasion 2001, Cheney rallied for the fight. Some say he was pushing for the invasion of.
Is the stream lagging? Fuck. Stream lag? Stream lagging? Fuck.
Some say he was for the invasion.
Stream lagging. Fuck. Stream is fine. My internet is effing a little. Apparently it's Twitch problem, so maybe which is fine.
Iraq. Once Iraq was liberated, the spoils of war. Guess to which company secured the most lucrative contracts to manage Iraq's oil fields. None has benefited from KBR, one as a commercial former subsidiary of Halliburton, which was.
Why is the quality seems to be locked at that on Twitch? I'll have to work it out. It just
was once run by Dick Cheney, vice president to George W.
You might have, if you're watching on YouTube, maybe you'll have to hop over on Twitch. No, it's a YouTube problem. Sorry.
And federal contracts related to the Iraq War over the past decade. What was the real cost of getting their hands on Iraq's oil? An estimated 4,490 members killed in Iraq. Approximately 200,000 Iraqi civilians were destabilizing the which gave the perfect breeding ground for ISIS to arise, and all of it was to get control of the oil and retain the dollar throughout the world. Good job, America. The real Aladdin swaps with the body double, and he rips it up. He goes on a hilarious tirade saying dictatorship and what it would do, then lists every single thing America actually
could let 1% of the people have all the nation's wealth.
higher. It's exposing what America really is, and it's funny. It
wandered over to Twitch and hello. Sorry if YouTube. Apparently it's yeah, both of them have been
full of this rather than made up Orientalist stereotypes. But it loses the strength in the satire because Sacha Baron Cohen, so he's talking from the point of view of an Arab, making it look like Americans. He calls for a real democracy, a real constitution, and real, which the crowd applauds to, and the triumphant music starts playing. Zoe says he'll make her one of his wives. Okay, only. Good old Arab men have multiple wives stereotype. This is a lazy caricature used to paint the region as exotic or backwards to satisfy Western imaginations. The reality, in the vast majority of the Arab world, polygamy outside of specific parts of the Arabian Peninsula and it's a social outlier. This movie's taking a legal exception and frames it as a cultural designed to make the Arab world look like a hypersexualized fantasy rather than a modern society where the overwhelming majority of families are monogamous. Zoe's response: armpits, but this comes off as weird. I know this is supposed to be a joke, but framing it as a peace offering is a false equivalency. The movie is positioning choice on the same level as the systematic practice of
where even has polygamy in the MENA?
An Arab to compromise wives, a progressive woman must compromise on her bodily autonomy. Superficial Western beauty standard with a fundamental martial structure, Cohen trivialized progressive values as a set of quirky, negotiable habits. Cynical way of saying that everyone's extremism, whether it's a dictator's harem or a woman's body hair, is equally ridiculous and should be hated away. Using her organic deodorant because he says that you could gas the Kurds. This is a reference to the Halabja massacre on March 16. Thousands.
Craziest fact about this is Americans literally actively sought to they actively sought to blame the Iranians for doing it, which is fucking. They had nothing to do with it. Iranians actually got gas too, I believe. It was predominantly Kurds.
Of Kurds were killed by a large-scale Iraqi chemical attack. 2,200, 7,000 to 10,000 more. But I have no idea why he specifically put this in the movie. It's not. I think it made another group of people, but it's of the list other he thinks. They go back to Wadia, and there's a joke where they
polygamy is polygamy is yeah. Multiple is not all Latter-day Saints.
General Al-Adin won 98.8% vote. Then voting booth. It's also Arab countries have free elections. It's still
that you guys find YouTube is just basically done.
Be rigged. It's saying about how the world thinks of Arabia than anything else. Even the West will still be unfair. There's no winning with them. Zoe crushed a rat ass under her foot, a Jewish wedding tradition. He says it's fine. Hugs her, then signals guards fabricated constant hatred of the Jewish people, or at least that's trying to propagandize. What do I think of the movie? movie. At its satire, it hides behind absurdity and shock value, but the place reinforcing old familiar stereotypes about Arabs. Yes, I did laugh. Yes, there are moments where almost something interesting. It's made. But
I love burgers. I love burgers. I love burgers. Sophie, thank you so much for the 10 tier 1 gifted sub. Crazy. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I think the YouTube is cooked. I'm really sorry. I don't know what's causing this. I fill in gaps with my imagination. Wow. I have a second cousin in the FLDS. Jesus Christ. It's horrible, the FLDS. I'm sorry. It really is like and I know you're like the things.
What it constantly does. The humor leans on a caricature of Arab. Its violent background.
My YouTube video is unwatchable laggy. That's crazy.
And misogynistic. And
hold on, let me check if. Let me just watch a stream.
Look at the hex on the start. So just get the freebie on Riddies, I guess. I feel like.
Hold on, sorry, I'm just sticking on a stream. I don't know if that's a. I don't know why it would be doing it. I'm a little worried. Is there maybe some kind of issue with me? Because the stream I just stuck on was fine.
and
hold on, let me there and
get the freebie on Riddies, I guess.
Sorry, you just heard me watching a Dota game, and now you're hearing me watch it again. It's just the first live that popped up.
it keeps going back to that over and over again. The shield or defense here is, it's not about Arabs, it's about dictators. I don't think that holds up. If the target is dictatorship, the jokes shouldn't rely this heavily on cultural stereotypes to land. When nearly every punchline aligns with the same Orientalist tropes, the framing stops mattering.
It's kind of interesting, because like this video is very good. Like, shout out this guy. It's a great video. The only thing I do think is, yeah, Silence of Wyvern, it's Na'vi versus Aurora. Anyway, the thing about this video is that I'm much more interested in like the Israel angle, the hitting on the dictatorial stuff. Like, I think that's the much more interesting stuff.
Your satire only works when the audience...
By the way, pretty strange though how that did happen after I talked about an IOF soldier.
Audience already believes the negative stereotypes, then all it's doing is reinforcing them. Ethically, I would put this movie higher than Borat because it's not exploiting real people for reactions. But the underlying idea is still the same. The civilized
I have Twitch monetization. I haven't monetized it.
West versus backwards East dynamic. It's just packaged differently.
Oh, apparently we're so back over on YouTube.
Where does it land on the Habibi movie tier list? I thought about putting it in F tier, but it doesn't deserve that. The movie is very clear in its anti-Arab messaging. I'm putting it in Z tier. It pretends to
I mean, if I was doing this, you would have to create a Z minus thing for me to put the fucking... If I was asked to put Waltz with Bashir anywhere, oh my god. If you ask me about, do not ask a man about Waltz with Bashir, I would put that in the negative tier. I still have a video like written out. Oh, I can pay to watch The Dictator. Oh, guys, sorry, I gotta go pay to watch The Dictator. So, sorry, see you later. I'm gonna go pay to watch the fucking Dictator. The revolution without the emancipation of the YouTube channels. Whatever you did, fix the stream on YouTube. Trickery. I did trickery. Guys, I'm quickly gonna go run pee, and then we'll cover the Iran stuff. So give me a second. I'll just be back in a second. Oh, did someone? No, no one gifted a sub. I thought someone gifted a sub. Sorry. Right, I'll be back in a second. I love burgers! Oh my god, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Someone's in use of the bathroom. Someone's using the bathroom is in use. There is a... I'm gonna have to go quartering mode and pee in the corner, I think. Fuck. Oh. I've never seen the full Borat movie and participate in passing convo with clip knowledge. Jesus Christ. No, there's another bathroom, but I'm not running to it. It takes too long. It's at the bottom of the house. It's not up here. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh my god. The corner of the room is going to be done for. Yeah, there's some random person in the house just pissing. Chris the trucker pissing in a bottle. Now, I love peeing in bottles, but no, I'm not peeing in a bottle. Peeing in a bottle is for special occasions only. Okay, right. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about this. It's fine, I'll just hold on to my pee. Also, have you guys seen that Cuba have apparently managed to get themselves a... Cuba have basically now managed to get themselves a... have managed to get themselves loads of drones, apparently. So let's listen to Fox
very
News
much.
to
With
give
that,
us some
we bring in
information.
retired Navy Captain Brent Sadler, whose 26 years of service includes operational tours on nuclear-powered submarines. He is now Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow, and retired Lieutenant General Mark Wetherington, former B-1 and B-2 pilot, served as Deputy Commander of the Air Force Global Strike Command. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's very good to have both of you with us today.
Well, apparently they're going to invade Cuba. It's not necessarily soon, but there was this fucking Politico article. So just read this. This was from Politico. The mess in Iran could leave the president impatient to score another win. He may see Cuba as another easy victory.
I want to get to a quote from leadership in Iran, but I think first I'd like to get your reaction to the news that was just reported by Trey Yanks and Brent Sadler. Captain Sadler, if I may start with you. So if they are employing air defense capabilities at Qasem Island, which everyone's very familiar with Karg Island, Qasem is one of the other operational facilities for oil production in Iran. If they're beginning to show signs that they're operating those air defense systems, what does that tell you?
Well, thank you. And the location of...
Okay, they're not talking about what I heard. They were... Oh my god, wait, they're monitoring the situation. I need to get this. Who's a stream expert? Who can help me get this? Anyway, you know what? I'll just talk about this because the video is useless. So Trump posted a really stupid statement yesterday, which apparently loads of the people involved with had no idea. There was actually a report that most of these Gulf nations didn't know what he was talking about. So he said, I have been asked by the Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, and the President of the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Why do you think he listed all of their names? To show that he has Arab friends. To hold off on our planned military attack on the Islamic Republic of Iran, which was scheduled for tomorrow in that serious negotiations are now taking place, and that in their opinion, as great leaders and allies, a deal will be made, which will be very acceptable to the United States of America, as well as all the countries in the Middle East and beyond. This deal will include, importantly, no nuclear weapons for Iran. Based on my respect for the above-mentioned leaders, I have instructed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, the chairman of the Joint Staffs of the Chiefs of Staff, General Daniel Kane, and the United States military that we will not be doing the scheduled attack of Iran tomorrow. By the way, this is also quite a lot of spelling mistakes, right? It should be attack on Iran tomorrow. On a moment's notice. In the event that an acceptable deal is not reached, thank you for your attention. Wait, what? But have further instructed them to be prepared to go forward with a full large-scale assault on Iran. On a moment's notice, in the event that an acceptable deal is not reached. I mean, this is just insane. This is just straight up insane. I don't think that this is true at all. I don't think any of this is true. I don't think they were going to attack, and if they were, it's because it's all just empty threats. It's pretty clear, by the way, that Iran has realized this, that everything about this is an empty an empty threat and that they can just sit and withstand this because Trump hasn't got the balls to withstand months and months of this. So here's a report of apparently what the hard set Iranian positions are. Iran seeks lifting of sanctions, release of frozen funds, end to US marine blockade. US shows some flexibility on frozen funds nuclear activity, denies oil sanctions waiver, Iranian source says. Fragile ceasefire holds after US-Israeli strikes. Iran retains military capabilities. I mean, I don't know. Trump has not just, the thing is Trump has kind of molested the money a little bit, but Trump has also just molested the lives of average Americans the most. By far. Totally molesting the money. Yeah, it is exactly like that, just sitting there and going, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back, whilst no one is holding you back. There was also this great tweet, which I'm going to have to save the image of. Hold on. Sorry, this was posted by Murtaza Hussein. It's from the New York Times. So this is what they said. Iran has used the month-long ceasefire with the United States to dig out scores of bombed ballistic missile sites, move mobile missile launchers, and despite significant losses, adjust its tactics for any resumption of strikes, said a US military official who spoke on condition of anonymity. Basically, what is increasingly being said, what is increasingly clear is that America may have managed to bomb the missile sites, but it has not managed to get to the actual missiles. I'm really sorry, I actually have to pee. It's awful. Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, okay, back to this. I'm going to return and I'm not going to speak of that. That was, yeah, whew, I needed to pee. Anyway, many of Iran's ballistic missiles were deployed from deep underground caves and other facilities carved out of granite mountains that are difficult for American attack aircraft to destroy, the official said. As a result, the US largely bombed the portals. I love burgers! Oh, Sophie, thank you for supporting for 3 months in advance. Jesus, thank you for supporting the channel as always. Goated. Goated. Thank you so much. Yeah, shut the hell up about soup. I don't like it. Yeah, but the problem is I think with the actual issue with the live situation monitoring thing is that I'd put it there, but the major issue is that you'd kind of want it there to change, and I think changing it might be the issue. But yeah, thank you again, Sophie. Thank you for everyone who supported and donated today. Incredibly kind. So apparently as well, many of Iran's, they're in deep caves and they basically can't be got, and because they're in granite mountains as well, the official said, as a result, the US largely bombed the portals of the sites. So this is the thing. Some people have said that Iran possesses 90% of its missiles from the pre-war situation, that the main issue was actually getting them, and now that you just have unlimited time to get them, you can just dig them all out, and I guess they've learnt a lot from what happened. Because it's pretty evident that the US cannot offer unlimited defense of this. Mangrove Creative, so glad to see you on Twitch. Well, I'm enjoying it being over here. I'm enjoying the Twitch too, and I'm enjoying the YouTube. It's fantastic as always. But yeah, this is the major issue. So you can blow this shit up, but what can you do? How on earth do you actually get to the missiles when they're so deep underground, when it's quick to move them around? The major thing that people thought would be the bottleneck was the missile launchers, but seemingly you can kind of repurpose them quite easily. Awesome, Sophie. Don't stress about it. It would be awesome to use it occasionally. But that's the thing, it would just be occasionally. So if it's a major faff, I guess that would be the issue. Anyway, Iranian commanders, possibly with Russian help. I don't know where that comes from. It's interesting that they've not cited it. Maybe this is from another article. Studied the flight patterns of American fighter jets and bombers. The US military officials warned the downing of the F-15E jet last month and the ground fire that struck an F-35 revealed that American flight tactics were becoming too predictable. And had become too predictable in ways that allowed Iran to defend against them more capably. Perhaps most important, the US military official said, that while 5 weeks of intensive bombing may have killed several Iranian leaders and commanders, the war has left a more hardened, resilient adversary. This is kind of the amazing thing. When you kill and assassinate people, it doesn't work. I don't know how people still support this when just killing people and flexing massive military power that you can do something. There was a great article in the Financial Times about this that was like, the Taliban apparently used to say, this was a great quote, America has the watches, but we have the time. And it's really similar to Operation Rolling Thunder, where we blew everything up, but they didn't win. And they haven't won. And it's so crazy that you reached this point a few months ago when apparently, you know, Iran was fucking defeated, where the US was just like seconds away from victory. But I don't think Iran can, I don't think America can win in the sense that it wants, very obviously. It is fucking nothing. It's just been destroying the global economy, and that's pretty much it. Like, great, you destroyed the global economy. That's it. But who knows? Maybe they attack Iran tomorrow. Predicting any of this is so hard. Oh, wait. Okay, so here's Trim saying this.
Well, I mean, I'm saying 2 or 3 days. Maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something. Maybe early next week. A limited period of time. Because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
How long are
So Iran has 2 or 3 days, so that would bring us to Friday, or maybe they have till Saturday, or maybe they have till Sunday, or maybe it's early next week. Do you remember when he kept releasing these deadlines saying it's power plant day? Maybe he will do it tonight. You know what, Pale Driver? It wouldn't surprise me if he did it tonight. But I think that they kind of know that there's nothing doing from this. That they won't achieve what they're claiming. That that they're going to end up with a failure. I think that this is very worrying for Cuba because there have been... God, the rain is terrible, by the way, here. It's actually insane. But when it comes to Cuba... Sorry, this is not the photo that I wanted. This was posted by the Southern Command of the US not long ago with Marco Rubio, who was meeting with Francis L. Donovan. This was about 2 weeks ago, exactly today. They discussed their efforts to counter threats that undermine security, stability, and democracy in our hemisphere. Brilliant. And yeah, you're right. Destroying the economy for the working class, but for elites, there has never been a better time to loot the US economy. With Donald Trump in power, you can loot the US economy. Which sounds brilliant. Did Iran actually say that? Did Iran say that they expected to be attacked in the next 48 hours? But I don't know. I think there's a chance that they just end up focusing on Cuba. By the way, I think they will go for Cuba, and I think it's part of building the Republican Party after Trump. I think it's a major part of that. I think that that's what it's about. It's about having a Republican Party for Marco Rubio. That Rubio will take office after Trump, and that's what this is ultimately about. But yeah, I mean, because Rubio's been saying some crazy shit. I think that could also be it. I think it's really hard to predict.
It's a difficult thing to manage, but it's only 4 months in, and I think we should be pleased. Venezuela's a better place today than it was 4 months ago, but it needs to continue to stay on that path. In the case of Cuba, it's a very different situation. There is no economy in Cuba. To the extent there's any wealth in Cuba, it doesn't go to the people, it doesn't even go to the government. The wealth is controlled by a company owned by military generals. They take all the money. They're sitting on billions of dollars. Okay, this is a country where people are literally now eating garbage from the streets.
Are you describing America? Is this America? Excuse me? People are eating garbage on the streets. The money goes to military elites. Is this America? Is Rubio becoming a Marxist?
But they have a company that controls all of the money making there that's sitting on 15, 16.
Did any of you see the thing that was like the New York Times did, or some outlet did this analysis that was like, this is how the Cuban military is taking its money from the people. You guys spent trillions on the Iraq war, and where did that money go? Where did the money of your population go? Why do I see so many people addicted to opioids who are eating trash, who live on the streets?
$1 billion. So it's a broken, non-functional economy, and it's impossible to change it. I wish it were different, but I believe, it's my personal opinion, you cannot change the economic trajectory of Cuba as long as the people who are in charge of it now are in charge of it. That's what's going to have to change, because these people are proven incapable. I hope I'm wrong. We'll give them a chance, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to be able to change the trajectory of Cuba as long as these people are in charge in that regime. These people...
Yeah, Axios was reporting that apparently Cuba might strike Guantanamo, but I'll take that with a grain of fucking salt, because I'm not sure. I think it's probably just a justification to attack Cuba. Mike Johnson was crying that Congress members don't get paid enough. Meanwhile, Fed minimum wage hasn't changed since 2009. I mean, just the precariousness of American life is the insanity to me. You know, how it can literally just explode and snowball into just... I guess that's prevalent with capitalism anywhere, but the example of fucking America is just so horrifying. Genuinely, why is American food so sweet? Someone confiscate the corn syrup. Preach. We got to stop them. On that note, guys, I will actually end the stream because we've been going for nearly 4 hours. I thank you all very much for watching, everyone who donated, everyone who supported. I hope that you have a lovely rest of the evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Just honestly, thank you so much as always. Have a lovely, 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 lovely day.